What's going on? I'm Nando.
And I'm DJ.
And I'm Diggins.
And this is Mostly Nitpicking, a podcast where every week we pick apart a piece of pop culture by looking exclusively at the details. Woo!
Yeah, hooray!
We did it! We made it!
Oh my god, did we?
We did the whole gauntlet of Godzilla and Kong movies to get to this moment.
It's all been leading up to this, folks. This is the last episode of Mostly Nitpicking.
I mean, it's not going to get better than this. Yeah, I feel like we've got a couple of things to do. Space Jam's probably going to be pretty good this year.
Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat's going to be great. Probably like a fun pod. Dune's probably going to be a fun pod. But
Black Widow, I'm sure it'll be fun.
Yeah, sure. One of the other ones, though, probably Shang-Chi. That one will probably be fun because we'll probably be able to just go like, this movie's good too, except the Aquafina's weird.
Nando's like a Marvel property with a woman as the lead. No, thank you.
Mm-hmm. An Asian woman at that.
Oh, God.
Scarlett Johansson stands know what I'm talking about. She's white. Guys.
Thanks for the clarification. I wasn't sure.
You know how we know? Because she went and found the whitest man ever. And that was Ryan Reynolds for a while. And then a whiter man emerged, and it was Colin Jost.
Yeah, baby.
Like a moth to flame. Guys, we are here to talk about a different movie that does not have any of those three, as far as I can remember.
I would not have been able to tell.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, none of them would make any sense. I can't even think of any fun crossovers. Detective Pikachu maybe would be fun to see him live in this universe. Those big Torterras, we never figured out what happened to them. So
That's
yeah,
true.
we got plenty to talk about when we're talking about, what's it called? Godzilla vs. Kong or V Kong?
Godzilla versus Kong.
Versus Kong. Okay. And there's nothing else, right?
No.
Nope.
That's it.
Okay. Cool. Good. That's all it needs.
Exactly.
Yeah. Guys, we gotta talk about it. But first, other stuff. We put up our Snyder Cut episode like yesterday maybe. So I can't remember. But it is, I think I uploaded it yesterday, made it live today. Which is Wednesday, the day that the King Kong Godzilla movie came out. So we haven't had a lot of time to get reactions, but we have heard a couple of people have sent gifts to us of things sucking. Now
Oh, right.
have forgotten what the thing that sucked was that DJ was going to be asked about. But DJ, do you remember what it was?
No, because I was literally about to ask you if you remembered, so I guess I'll have to go back and listen.
Yeah, it was like something sucks or doesn't suck, and we were like, everyone send tweets to DJ with
I'll have to go back and find it.
But
I'll just play it on background while I'm watching Justice League 1.5 or 1.25 times or whatever.
So that is I was gonna say the verdict on whatever that is it sucks.
Yes.
Whatever this was, but I don't remember if you thought it did or we thought it did, and we're trying to convince you. So whatever it is, we'll figure it out eventually.
Maybe I
Whatever
didn't think
it
it
was,
sucks, but I should think it is. Yeah.
I don't
Whatever
know.
it was, I feel fully confident that I was correct about it.
Yeah.
I agree.
We got a fun one today.
We do have a fun one today.
And any fun stuff? Any fun stuff to talk about? Have your opinions on the Snyder Cut cooled or warmed or anything like that?
They've left
Absolutely
my
not.
brain. They've just.
Have you watched the
They're
black
gone.
and white one yet? I know they made a black and white one for some
No.
Listen,
Are there
Nando,
any different scenes?
The deal was we did our 5-hour Snyder Cut podcast, and then I never had to think about it ever again.
I think
was
there are
the
new
deal.
scenes, but I still haven't seen like a list of them, so I haven't watched them. And I'm surprised that they haven't shown up yet. Like, just, I don't know. It's weird.
Right.
But yeah, I'm sure it's not, it's not that different probably.
Mario's
I don't know.
dead.
Mario's
Mario
dead.
is dead. Very sad.
Yeah, Nintendo executed him today.
Why is that? I missed that joke, but it sounds great. I feel
This is
there
like
was
a
some
Diggins
fun there.
joke because he tried
No,
to get me
it's
with
an
it, and
internet
I'm like,
thing.
Oh,
It's
well,
an internet thing. It's not a me
Diggins
thing.
well, you live on the internet, so it's like internet
It's-
proxy you or whatever.
That's why my brain is so poisoned.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so what was the Mario thing?
So today, March 31st, so I can fully date this podcast, is the last day you can buy Super Mario All-Stars, the Switch game where you can play Super Mario 64 and Sunshine and Galaxy.
In honor of Mario's whatever anniversary. They
35th.
released all the games. 35th anniversary.
But they only released them for a few months, and after today, Mario is being executed. He'll be dead, and you can't buy his games anymore.
That makes sense.
They put those games out and then took them away because they ran out of bytes.
They ran
the
out
hard
of Marios.
drives.
They ran out of Marios.
Okay.
There's no more Marios.
That makes sense.
I mean,
That's the only reason I'll accept.
It's a cynical ploy to juice sales, but you know.
I think he's in the Disney vault now. He's suffocating, eating Bambi sequel animal friends and stuff. Hopefully, and he'll make it to the next console. Yeah. Why would they put him in a vault?
We can only hope.
Yeah. But besides that, guys, what are we talking about this week?
Well, we are talking about Godzilla V Kong, which everyone's super excited about. It's the greatest. It's the greatest thing ever.
It's a rematch, 49 years in the making.
Yeah. And also, I guess, 7 years in the making since they made the new one? So, 7 whole years we waited.
It's 7 years since these incarnations we've been waiting to fight, but 49 years since we've been waiting for the rematch.
And who won in the original?
Yeah, who won the first one?
So, I would say Kong wins in the original, but it's kind of a win by decision.
Okay.
Because they fight for a while. They basically fall into the ocean after both hitting each other a bunch. And then Kong is seen swimming away and Godzilla is not seen again. So Kong is declared the winner, but it's kind of a murky situation.
Did they forget that one can swim underwater and one can't? Were they just that doesn't make much sense to me. I feel like Godzilla swims away in this bits in this one, and I don't think anyone's he's dead forever, guys.
Well, Kong was
swam
also,
away
before they fell in the ocean. Kong was kind of winning at that point,
go.
But only because he'd just been struck by lightning, which in this movie supercharges him because he has electricity powers.
He needs to get some powers. Well, we'll get to it. But
yeah, we will.
Yeah. Guys, Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah.
I don't have any of the stats in front of me, so I don't have the IMDb page. So, DJ, can you read all what I usually say? Director, year, all that stuff?
Oh, yeah, sure. So, Godzilla v Kong, 2021, directed by Adam Wingard.
What's he from?
Let's
see. The great Death Note movie everyone loves.
Oh, yeah, and he's also the, I can't fucking, what's his name? Wingard, it's an X-Men thing. He's not Mesmero, the other one. He's Mastermind, the one that controls minds. He's that guy. They yell at him and they're like, Wingard! So, yeah.
He did some kind of Death Note thing?
I know he's doing
the thing I just said, DJ.
Sorry.
They're making the Lions movie with him, whatever the heck, the Thundercats. They're doing a Thundercats movie. I've seen him talking about it this week, but I don't know what he... So I guess Death Note and this. Yeah.
Yeah, this is probably his biggest thing. And starring Alexander Skarsgård. Love him.
What's he from?
Alexander Skarsgård?
Is he Pennywise or is that another one?
That's Bill Skarsgård.
Yeah,
okay.
It's his brother.
I have so
They're
much
related,
trouble with
right?
this.
They are related, yes.
Which one's the one from Deadpool 2? That throws up a bunch of vomit, acid.
It's not Alexander Skarsgård.
I want to say that's Bill, but I'm not sure.
Is this the one from the vampire show? The sexy vampires?
Big Little Eyes?
That's it. Yep. I haven't seen the end of Big Little Eyes, but I'm pretty sure I'm talking about something else. No, it's the one with the sexy vampires. The one in the show, True Blood. No, is he in True Blood?
Yes.
One of them's one.
Yes.
Okay. This is the True Blood.
This is True
Blood.
Blood.
Gotcha.
And Big Little Eyes, just so we're on the
He
same
plays Adam
page.
Scott. He's great. He looks and sounds just like Adam Scott in that show. Revelation. Yeah, he's in there. He's good. I don't know, we'll talk about him.
Also, Millie Bobby Brown.
11 is back. One of the 2 returning characters.
And the only one who's really in the movie.
Yeah.
Can you guys believe who's third build? Who do you think's third
Hold
build?
on. Can I guess?
Yeah.
Who else in this movie that I might have forgotten about? I mean, my brain would want to say it's whatever her name is, Rebecca Hall, but I don't think that's right.
Okay. I have a real guess and a fake guess.
I'm trying to think if there's people I forgot exist in this movie.
My real guess
Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry. You were about to go.
My guess is Brian Tyree Henry, Paperboy's own.
That was going to be my real guess.
Yeah,
Who's
right?
your fake guess?
My fake guess is the flying snake things that Kong fights, because that's who I would put third billing if it was up to me.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, your fake guess is wrong, and both of your real guesses are wrong. Brian Tyree Henry is actually fourth build. Nando, you should have went with your gut. Rebecca Hall is third build.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I feel like she's the third main character, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, this feels right. The only other thing I was thinking was maybe like footage of one of the other guys from other movies, like Tom Hiddleston archival footage, but that didn't happen.
I mean, do you guys know who's fifth build? Like, it really goes off the wagon there.
Now I think, yeah, but I don't know
Kong.
his name. I think it's a Deadpool kid.
No, he's seventh.
It's Kong, right?
Is it the girl from Bloodshot?
No, she's
Wow.
sixth.
Dang it! Is it the
Gila
other
Gonzalez?
guy? Yeah.
No.
Is it the guy who's
We're rapidly running out of characters.
I don't know his name, but Mr. Apex?
No, it's not him either.
Is it the guy who plays Serizawa's son?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, this billing makes no sense.
Who
What the
I
fuck
did
was
not
up with
know.
him?
I did not know that was supposed to be Ken Watanabe's character's son until I looked it up after watching the movie.
They don't
So
make
they
that
said-
clear. They don't make that
They
even a
say
little bit clear.
Serizawa a couple times,
Yeah.
and I'm like, well, we're going to have something come from this, right? And then never comes up.
The answer is no.
Yeah, so weird. It's like it's a coincidence. But yeah. Yeah, that's the movie. It was good. It's got all those guys, just like you said. Way to
It
go.
does have all those guys.
Yeah,
So
but who
two-
cares?
Two
I mean,
from the old
yes.
ones, Kyle Chandler and Millie Bobby Brown, and a bunch of new guys, all from other movies that we've talked about probably, except for that last guy. But everybody else has been in something recently enough that I'm going to call them that. Deadpool Kid, Bloodsport, or Bloodshot, Iron
I
Man
think of her
3.
more as the girlfriend from I Care a Lot.
I don't know why. I feel like she's got the vibe of the Bloodshot one in this. She's got the vibe of, I don't know what she's going for in this, but that portrayal's a little too nuanced in I Care a Lot for me to associate these two actresses as the same thing. This one's pretty wild. She was fine in that. I forgot she was in that, honestly.
Yeah, I liked her in that one. I think she had good chemistry with Rosamund Pike.
Did she have good chemistry with the lawyer, the best character? Probably
I don't
not.
think
I don't
they-
think they were in any scenes together.
I was going to
What a
say,
bummer.
I'm pretty sure they don't interact.
Yeah, that's why the movie's bad. No, I like that movie.
So, do you guys want to guess the IMDb summary for this movie?
Yeah, who goes first? Do I? Oh, I guess I don't know. Should I go first? Since
It's
I'm
weird because we don't have the
challenger?
winner now, just this job. So,
I guess you'd want the second place person from last week to have a slight advantage.
sure. So,
Same way the Price is Right hole is like that. The hole in the dais is filled by someone who goes first.
yeah. So okay, Diggins, I'll let you pick who goes first. I'll say this: it's one sentence, and it's not very long. It's like a sentence that's like got a clause in the middle, but yeah, it's not super long.
Okay. After Godzilla seemingly turns on the human race, they must rely. No, hold on. Start over.
All right.
After Godzilla seemingly turns on the human race, their only hope lies with a new protector, the giant ape Kong.
Okay.
Okay, Nando.
I'm gonna go in a different direction, and I haven't worked it out in my head, so probably gonna stumble a little bit. But it's something along the lines of the epic showdown has come. Kong vs. Godzilla will fight to see who is the true king of monsters.
Yeah, Nando crushed it.
Woo, baby!
Damn.
It was Nando. I'll read it, but what you were going for was really the tenor. One word you said killed it, and so I'm going to read it.
Okay.
The epic next chapter in the cinematic
Oh my
Monsterverse pits two of
Damn.
the greatest icons in motion picture history against one another: the fearsome Godzilla and the mighty Kong, with humanity caught in the balance.
Ah,
So Nando,
yeah,
you
that's
really
a good-
got what was going on there. Saying
Yeah, I'm
epic
back,
was
baby.
insane, honestly.
I mean, I think it has to be this movie, and I think we'll talk about whether it delivered on it or not, but I think this movie definitely at least tried to be epic. It didn't hold back in the same way that, like, Batman v Superman said it was epic, and then they beat each other over the head with bathroom sinks. Like, this is definitely a much truer example of that premise of epicness.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
We'll see about that part, but I mean, I guess at least I think that's what they were shooting for.
Yes, I agree with that. They definitely were going for that epicness.
Yeah.
Also,
so that means I get to go first?
It does mean you get to go first.
Amazing. Oh my god. All right. So what do I think of Godzilla vs. Kong?
Yes. What do you think of Godzilla vs. Kong? Sorry, I'm not used to doing this. This is very new
I
for
think
me.
it's taken us 4 movies, but we finally got one that I think is pretty good. And I think the movie understands how boring all the people are, and it doesn't care, doesn't use them that much, and mostly uses them to showcase the monsters. They are usually talking. It's like the Bechdel test, where it's like this movie has a reverse Bechdel test, where 2 humans, they're never talking about anything but the monsters, and that's good. Like, if they ever just sat down and were like, "You're a bad father," I'd be like, stinks. But they don't do that. They always talk about the monsters, and I think that's pretty good.
That's an interesting take.
Yeah, I think most of the guys were, like, most of the characters were caricatures enough that I loved them. The ones that were really caricature-y, I really loved. The ones that were, like, you know, the main characters were fine. But overall, there were, like, you know, there were a handful of fight scenes and, like, action sequences. But when it came to most of this action scenes and the promise of the premise, I think this movie pretty much delivered all of my expectations. There's one fight that I wish was a little bit longer, but besides that, everything else was pretty awesome. It's not like a good movie the same way that, like, you know, Nomadland is, but I think it's as good as I can hope for a movie where Godzilla and King Kong fight.
Okay. Diggins, what did you think?
I think this is the first American Godzilla movie I've seen that really captures the dumb energy of some of the best Japanese Godzilla movies.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's the right kind of stupid. I completely agree with you, Nando, when I say, like the human plot in this movie is, like, as bad, if not worse, than in King of the Monsters. But the difference is the movie knows it's bad and is just, like, completely playing into, this is some stupid nonsense that we have to put in the movie so we can get to the monkey punching the lizard.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always laser focused on getting to that monkey punching the lizard. And you know what? Sometimes all you need is for the monkey to punch the lizard, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So I quite enjoyed it because it had that kind of awareness that it was stupid, which helps a lot. Because the King of the Monsters plot, besides just being about the humans and their drama, is just so self-serious in a way that's not fun at all. It just drags and is tiresome. Whereas this kind of, you know, no one on that set was like, this is the real drama that's going to reel people in, when they were filming someone longingly looking at a picture of their dead brother. And then also the action scenes, instead of being dark and impossible to follow and constantly intercut with humans I don't care about, was good. The monkey punching the lizard was good, and that's what's really the key to success here.
I mean, yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. What about you, DJ? What did you think of Godzilla vs. Kong?
I have a different take than you guys, and so for me, this is not the best one of the 4. But I don't know where to fall on it because... So, I agree, Diggins, that the human plots are so bad, but I didn't was like, this is, like, so stupidly hilarious. I was like, please get these people off the screen. Whereas I thought the monster fights best in the series. And right, like in daytime, and a lot of it was in the trailers, but it still had me there. This is the first movie in like the pandemic era, or at least recently, where I'm like, ooh, should I go to the theaters to watch this? Because to get more of that epicness of it.
Oh yeah,
DJ. How many? This is me and Diggins 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I don't remember when we said it, but we were just like, it's going to be so cool to see this in a theater. And I'm not going to a theater until I have to go, says DJ. And look at us now. Look at us now. On top. Just like a certain animal, which we will not spoil, but we'll talk about eventually.
No, we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, we will. Oh, we will. There'll be words.
We're not gonna spoil it here, but Nando is on one side of this debate and I'm on the other. And if you follow the clues, maybe you can figure it out.
Sorry, DJ, go on. Yeah, you're going to see this movie in a movie theater.
We'll see. So for me, I just have a very complicated way to feel about this movie because I don't think I liked it more than original Godzilla. This probably comes in number 2 for me. And I said this when we did the Godzilla 2014, is it just had such a good balance of the human stories and the monster fights. And I know that's not traditionally the how these movies go, and how Godzilla V Kong was probably closer to the human stuff is nonsense. Let's get back to these monster fighting, because there's probably more monster fighting in this movie than the 3 previous ones combined. I mean, maybe that's a little, but full on-screen monster fight without cutaways to people, definitely more than the other movies. Like the other, its predecessors. But again, just every time I saw 11 and Deadpool Kid, I'm like, stop, I hate this so much. And the I didn't mind when they go into the Hollow Earth and everything with the little native girl. I actually thought that stuff was kind of endearing, but it just, the other parts fell flat for me, that I'm like on this movie. I'm not like a hardcore yeah, it's great, or it kind of sucked. I'm very in the middle, which I know sucks, but I think it's because this movie probably had the highest highs of any of the of these 4 movies, but also the lowest lows. So it did both.
Unbelievable.
I think saying this one had the lowest lows is bananas.
Yeah, that's
I really
the lowest
think so?
lows compared to the one where what's her name's mom was the terrorist, and the one from before. The one, 20, whatever it was, 17th King of
Godzilla
Monsters.
King of Monsters. At least there was some kind of story that, even though it was bananas,
Oh my god.
It's a story.
Bradley Whitford? Are you kidding me, dude? This is... No one in this movie is nearly as... Bradley Whitford, Thomas Middleton combo, you think is higher than any of the lows in this movie? Out of your mind. Out of your mind.
The stuff where the crew is, and we'll get into it, is doing their little adventure at Apex is nearly unwatchable. It's nearly unwatchable.
Absolutely loved it. DJ, I don't think you experienced it right, which I think we'll explain. I'll explain what I mean. But I think you can really appreciate it once you change a slight perspective kind of thing. But yeah, we'll get to it. Interesting. So interesting, though. I figured this would just be
Thank you.
Absolute win all around. Because I do think I'm assuming the reviews are relatively positive. Honestly, I haven't looked, besides individual reviews, but I haven't seen what the Rotten Tomatoes score is. I hear it got review bombed by the Restore the Snyderverse team.
Snyderverse
so
people,
way to go.
They will not
you can't
go away.
Can't stop, won't stop. If you give a mouse a cookie,
I
ask
think
for one more cookie and then it's done. Okay, one more.
I think they actually purged most of those because its audience, at least on Rotten Tomatoes, its audience score is very high.
Nice.
But then the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes is almost always very high, unless you're the target of targeted harassment campaigns.
I guess that makes sense because the Rotten Tomatoes is owned by one of the companies that makes movies or something, so they have a vested interest in kind of keeping the audience reviews high.
Fandango also owns Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, so that makes sense. But yeah, tomato meter score right now kicking around at 80. I think that's fair.
Is that the highest tomato meter score of all of them? Because I think it might be. I don't think the first Godzilla got that high.
It's probably pretty close.
I'm going to check this. Why don't we keep talking while I do that?
I would bet the first one and Skull Island were both like 75, and then the other one was like a 40, and then
I hate
this one
my
80.
Official predictions. I don't know why we're doing this guessing game, but why not?
Let's do it.
I'm
Because
gonna
DJ
guess.
couldn't be in the last game, so he wants to be in this game. I get it.
Exactly. I like just making games. So I'm going to go in order of release. So I'm going to say Godzilla 2014 got I'm going to say 76. I'm going to say Kong Skull Island got a 72, and I will give King of Monsters a 55.
Okay. I'm going to say
76, 71, 55.
I'm going to say Godzilla 2014. I decided to bump mine up. I'm going to give it like a 79. Skull Island, I'm going to take the over on almost everything TJ said. I'm going to say 77 for.
Wow.
You know what? I'm going to say Skull Island. I think Skull Island might have been better than this at the reviews. I think Skull Island might have been like 82. And then, I still think King of Monsters is somewhere between 30 and 40. I'm going to say 39.
So, for Godzilla 2014, DJ got it exactly right. It's 76%.
Wow.
For Kong Skull Island, Nando, you talked yourself out of the victory. That was 75%.
Wow.
So DJ ended up closest.
Wow.
And then for King of the Monsters, Nando, you did win this one because that is a mere 42%.
Wow, people really did not like that movie.
It was bad. It was bad compared to
bad
these,
movie.
especially. Yeah, like I think 80s, I guess, is fair. I mean, I'd like to see a very negative criticism for this. I mean, plus it's Rotten Tomatoes, so who the hell knows? But like the Metacritic score, something like that. I'd like to see some people that were just like 0 out of 10. I hated Godzilla versus Kong, just to see what their their mindset.
I hate it when lizards and monkeys fight.
Yeah,
it's the worst to me.
Like, oh god, the Rolling Stone guy, that person, K. Austin Collins, he gave it a 1.5 out of 5. This is his little, snippet. It'd be a much better movie if it stuck firmly to its title. We don't really need to invent labyrinthine, feebly anti-corporate, cloyingly emotional reasons for Godzilla to beat Kong's ass. So, this guy seems to want Godzilla to beat up Kong, so he's bad.
You mean he's a correct gentleman of taste and sophistication.
And B, what is this guy? Pro-corporation in this? Like, just fucking...
I don't know, dude. Exactly
Corporations
right.
are bad sometimes.
I don't know that I would say that this movie spent too much time not justifying Godzilla. Too much time on things that weren't Godzilla and Kong. It's not a criticism I would have of this movie.
Yeah, agreed. Where do we start with just talking about it? So we're not going to spoil it. Although, we'll do a little bit of not spoiling it. And then we'll get into spoilers. But I do want to talk non-spoilers because but problem with that is I don't know where spoilers start.
What counts as... I feel like only a couple things really count as a spoiler,
Yeah, but they start going pretty quickly. Like, I feel like... okay, so the outcomes of the fights are definitely a spoiler.
Definitely.
The thing that happens in the finale that's, supposed to be a surprise that isn't really surprising. That's a spoiler. But then, I almost think some of this stuff that happens right in the middle of the movie, no pun intended, is also kind of a spoiler because they really managed... There are a lot of things in this movie that they managed to keep out of the marketing that I was pretty impressed by. I
agree.
And I almost would consider those things spoilers too, kind of. But also, I don't know, it's it is what it is. It's besides
Nando, of course, is talking about the extended sex scene between Godzilla and Kong in the middle of the movie.
Don't spoil it. Who's on top?
Godzilla uses the axe in Godzilla uses the axe in a very clever way. King Kong. It's hard to tell who wins that fight.
They both do in the end.
Exactly. We are the real winners. I would say that, I definitely think how the fights go, it should kind of be a spoiler, kind of.
I think that's the most important spoiler in the movie.
Yeah. I do too. And then I think the thing at the end of the movie is not really a spoiler because one character, the first scene is a character pretty much figuring it out without seeing the whole picture. But
really,
I think
like you hear the name of the company in the first scene, and you're like, oh, okay. So here's where we're going. Got it.
I mean, I couldn't get over its connection to another certain thing, and I just kept thinking of that. But then when that guy said the thing about the company, I was like, oh, I get it. That's why we're calling it this. But then, yeah, I don't know. Whatever. This movie's great. Let's talk about the characters. What do you think of all the characters, guys?
Get every human character out of here that isn't the girl, and more monsters. Give me more monsters.
Yeah, well, which monster?
No,
I feel like
monsters.
We got so many monsters. I mean, honestly, the two we got were plenty, and then that Flappy Bird one that Diggins talked about, which I also loved. Is that from something?
No, the two monsters in that middle sequence that show up are pretty new.
Okay, I feel like I recognize it from something. But I don't know what.
It might be based on like general monster designs from Kong stuff before, but I don't think there's any specific thing it's referencing.
Like, I'm even thinking like from other movies. There's some design, that weird bat like thing, not the bat thing, I guess, because there's also those things. But then, yeah,
confusingly, the giant snakes are called war bats.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
Huh.
And then the bat things are called something else. I forget what.
So, like, the war bats felt like something else to me. That's something that's really, like, really inside. It's got to be, like, from Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't know what it is, but there's something that's similar. Either way, it doesn't really matter. But I guess, okay, so the story of this movie is what? We kind of got at what the story was. Diggins' explanation told a little better of a, kind of setup for what's going on.
Yeah, like what's going on.
What's happening in this movie? Why are all the characters interested in things now? It's 3 years have passed, right? Or 4?
5.
5! Oh my god, so many years.
So many. Yeah, right.
5 years later, Avengers are all sitting around, and Godzilla is blowing up Mexico.
Guys, I think there's
or
tremors
whatever.
below the Earth we should check out.
Oh my god, that's what it was. Captain Marvel should have gone over there or something. Or Black Widow should have gone, and Okoye stopped her on the side of Godzilla, I guess. But yeah, so what's going on in the movie?
So, Godzilla has seemingly turned on humanity because he attacked a facility of Apex Cybernetics, some totally on their level and above board company that there's no reason to be suspicious of.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore Godzilla must be evil now, and we just don't know what's going on. Also, according to the newspapers after this attack, only 8 people died, which seems miraculous.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, we
Godzilla
saw
is on land, just blasting atomic breath everywhere, just blowing up buildings. The fact that only 8 people died is like, that shows incredible restraint on Godzilla's part. I don't know how you could think he's a bad guy after that.
I mean, we saw 2 of the deaths. Maybe the other 6 were just Brian Tyree Henry bumping into other workers and them just all getting obliterated by Godzilla accidentally. Mm-hmm.
This does lead to the best line read in the movie, which is also one of the full about 20 seconds of the full minute of screen time that Kyle Chandler gets.
Mm-hmm.
Which is him saying to Millie Bobby Brown, his daughter from the last movie, Godzilla's out there and he's hurting people and we don't know why.
That's pretty good. I think a lot of Kyle Chandler's lines were great because I want to say another one of them is, I don't want you listening to that evil podcast or something. I love that. I loved how much podcasts were a part of the beginning of the movie.
I know.
And the end, too.
Podcasts were integral to this movie.
Yes, if for nothing else, maybe listen to our podcast to see if there's secret codes about Godzilla. You never know.
Well, and
yeah.
incredible. I was just gonna say, incredible fandom is part of this movie too. Like being a super fan of a podcast.
To be very clear, I don't know anything about Godzilla, whether I'm winking or not. Who knows? But also, I don't know what the fuck this podcast is, because it's exposing the secrets of Godzilla from within the Godzilla company or something like.
So it's like a Titan Truther podcast run by Brian Tyree Henry's character Bernie. And so he seems to have like a bunch of conspiracy theories about Titans, I guess. And he's also working undercover at this Apex cybernetics because he thinks that they're up to some bad stuff. And so that's actually the frame of the opening scene, is we're following him for a while until Godzilla attacks. Which leads to the hilarious contrivance that he has done over 400 episodes of a podcast where he does not disguise his voice, talking openly about how he's working undercover at this company, and like no one has ever found this out. But also 2 teenagers find him in an afternoon.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, they have $20. That's all it takes, you know?
Yeah, that's true. But it's weird because he's like convinced they're up to some bad stuff, which is true. Seems to be pro Godzilla because Millie Bobby Brown's entire character in this movie is that she loves Godzilla and thinks he's good. And she thinks this guy's good also. So I have to imagine his talk on the podcast previously has been quite pro Godzilla.
I mean, what would the talk even be? Haven't seen Godzilla in a while. I don't know.
Yeah.
What in news is he telling that Kyle Chandler doesn't already know?
Yeah, it's like, this isn't a world where the existence of Godzilla is a secret anymore. You know, there was that whole global attack by a bunch of Titans. Everyone knows about Godzilla now. You can't be like, the government's keeping Godzilla from us. Everyone would be like, no, we know about Godzilla. What are you talking about?
Yeah, there's Titan shelters. Like,
My kid had a
get ready for like an earthquake
Godzilla-themed
or a hurricane.
birthday party last year.
Oh my god.
So yeah, I'm not quite sure what his deal really is, but he's also way into just like regular conspiracy theories about reptilians and fluoride in the water supply and stuff like that.
Yeah, this movie, me and Diggins were talking before the show, has an adorable, like, kind of like simplistic take on conspiracies where the conspiracy in the movie is not a conspiracy, but this guy also happens to believe all the other conspiracies, just like the, you know, all the standard ones. Which means, like, I wonder if this guy is really into QAnon or not, or something like that, you know?
Boy.
Did he fall down that rabbit hole? I can see him getting radicalized by YouTube and whatnot, you know, different podcasts he listens to. Can't, you know, it's easy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, does he think that there's chemicals in the water that's turning Godzilla gay?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God. He's not a frog, Diggins. He's not a frog.
He can change his genitals.
He's amphibious.
Yeah, we learned that from the other one. They could change to be female or something. I forgot that movie. That movie
I think in that one Godzilla is hermaphroditic, which means
is that what it was? Okay.
Capable of self-fertilization.
Gotcha. I confused it with the
Right.
Jurassic Park explanation.
Strictly in like animal biological terms, to be clear.
Yeah, it's a he loves his conspiracies. And we hear about fluoride. He washes his body with bleach.
Yeah, that seems dangerous. That seems like a thing you shouldn't do.
Really
you
dangerous.
You would ruin your skin. You would destroy your skin.
Now, I have to imagine he's not like literally just pouring tubs of bleach on himself, but also apparently he has to buy it in bulk because he goes through it so quickly. So I don't know.
I don't see how he can't have been just pouring tubs on himself. That would have been really funny if halfway through the movie he just like died from bleach poisoning.
just like
started convulsing
into a
on the
skeleton.
floor, and he's like, I can't even imagine. You know,
like it's some John Carpenter movie from the 80s.
Yeah, just like, oh, my skin's all burning off. This is the years of bleach catching up to me. I mean, they make jokes about drinking bleach, kind of, and Tide Pods, and I don't know, man. I mean, also, this is a world where Tide Pods happened.
I kind of love the Tide Pod reference because it's so hilariously out of date.
Yeah, I like to believe that if we had Godzillas, we'd be more interested in Godzillas than Tide Pods, but also, we've got cool stuff now that we don't care about, so, I don't know, we still did Tide Pods. Who is that? That's what's his name, Ronnie Chang, having a little cameo in there?
Is it?
Is that who that was?
Isn't that who that is? I think so. I paid some attention to this movie, and I recognized that guy, and I'm going back in my head, and I think that's who that was.
Ronnie Chang. Yeah, okay. Look at you.
Yeah.
Good on you, Nando.
So that's
fun. Guess where he was built?
Yeah, I watched all the Daily Show clips. Guess where he was built? I don't know, 15th. Pretty far back.
You might be exactly right.
Oh, really?
4, 5,
While
6,
you were
7,
going
8,
to parties,
9,
I was
10, 11,
studying
12,
the IMDb.
13.
Ah,
13.
damn it. Well, I obviously count Kong and Godzilla as 1 and 2, so 14, 15.
Oh, that makes
Well,
sense.
yeah, they should be.
As we
They should be
yeah.
1 and 2
in that order.
because they're the stars of this movie.
Yeah, based on screen time alone, 1 is clearly the more important.
I mean, Kong is very, very much the treated as the main character of the movie. I think that's a non-controversial statement.
Yeah, because he can emote and is fun to watch and interesting. And the other one is a big old fish.
Wow.
Big ugly fish with a face.
Now we're getting into some more controversial statements that I don't think I can co-sign. I think we can all agree that Godzilla is a beautiful boy who we all love and would gladly watch 90 straight minutes of.
I would watch 90.
Would.
I'd watch 90 minutes of it, like doing other stuff, hanging out with other Titans, maybe, you know. Godzilla, on the other hand, now that's a character. He can look sad.
I agree. Godzilla is a character.
Or excuse me, King Kong is a character. God damn it. Sigmund Freud, you got me again.
Got.
Even your own subconscious doesn't agree with you, Nando.
Godzilla is kind of a character in the same way that, like, I don't know, a turtle would be a character, in the same way that, like, a plastic bag dancing
Gamera,
through the
friend
air.
of children?
In the same way that you can just decide, you know, you could kind of transplant your own thoughts onto just some blank slate, and then it's like, oh yeah, I like that thing. That's a character. Whereas King Kong emotes and has thoughts and comes up with ideas in a way that is great.
The most genuinely moving emotional beat of this movie comes from Godzilla.
I can't even guess what it is.
We'll get there eventually.
We'll have to, yeah. What else? Okay, so where were we? Oh yeah. So conspiracy theory podcast. So
we've gotten like way off track. We're ostensibly talking about the plot of the movie right now.
Well, so there's 2 main characters we've gotten so far. 3 if you count the Deadpool kid. But you got Millie Bobby Brown, and I guess Kyle Chandler, who's just kind of around. And then Brian Tyree Henry. Now that is, I would say plot C almost. If you're considering the animals are plot A, and then plot B is these other characters that are more important.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So much so that at the end of the movie remembers part C is kind of happening at the same time and is like, oh yeah, give them something to do. All right, they're done. We don't need to check up back on them. But so part B, who's in plot B? You got Rebecca Hall. You got one of the Skarsgård people.
Yeah,
Alexander Skarsgård.
Alexander Skarsgård. And then you got a little girl.
Young child.
Yeah.
Should probably figure out what her name is.
I guess the Rebecca Hall and the child live on Skull Island, which, how about that reveal? Wild. How about the intro in general with King Kong, where he did the beginning of Shrek, and he had like a little shower?
We did little Kong's morning routine.
Yeah, love it.
Guys, the girl actress who plays Gia, Kaylee Hoddle, I don't know how to play her last name. She's pronounced her last name. She's totally deaf.
I'm not surprised.
Oh,
that
yeah.
seems like the kind of thing
That's awesome.
you want to cast in that role.
That is better than having someone pretend to be deaf.
I don't know. Sia would disagree. I think that actress is fine. I think all of the actresses in the movie were fine. I think that came to that whole thing brought up my big joke that worked for me. So
Yeah.
all good. Like her inclusion was fun. She also has what I wouldn't necessarily consider deafness related superpowers, but kind of, which is plot important. So I guess, you kind of got to go there. But what's her deal? What's the little girl's deal in general? Where's she from?
She is the last surviving Skull Island native. The Iwi are the people who are indigenous to Skull Island. And I guess they all died in a big storm except her because Kong saved her.
Gotcha. Now
that's what the movie says at one point anyway.
And this was like just a random occurrence, I would assume, because they seem to have existed for a while. So somewhere between the 1970s and whenever this movie takes place.
Yep.
There was a big storm that wiped them all out.
Sometime between the 1970s and 2024, there was a big storm that killed the entire indigenous population of this island, who seems to live fairly central on the island, not near the water. I mean, by like a river, but not near like the ocean.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and I guess also it must have happened in the last like 10 years because the girl's alive. So
yeah, true. But yeah, that just happened because I guess they didn't want to bother hiring any indigenous actors.
I guess. Wait, so were we not monitoring Kong during the storm?
Well, maybe we didn't put him in the shield yet because maybe that was before Godzilla was active.
That's true. I guess it could have happened right around when Godzilla showed up. Maybe Godzilla did it. Ooh.
Oh.
Wait, is this storm related to Ghidorah in any way?
They're not clear on the timeline. They never really say when it happened, I don't think.
Interesting.
Anyway, also, so she got taken in by the Kong Whisperer.
Yeah, lady scientist Kong Whisperer.
Whatever her name is.
Lady scientist played by Rebecca Hall, who I guess is the monarch scientist in charge of Kong.
Yeah, and people that can kind of half recognize her face, she was in Iron Man 3. She's supposed to be the villain, and then in the end they changed their mind and decided that Guy Pearce was the villain. But I think she's one of those faces, you know, she pops up and stuff. I want to say she was in The Prestige. I think she's like the wife in that is like, you're also, well, I don't want to spoil The Prestige, but she has stuff to do. Yeah, so she is part of Team Kong. Very important. And what is Kong's deal in this current day as the movie starts?
He kind of just wants to chill, you know? He kind of just wants to vibe.
He's a big boy now. He's grown.
And where does he live?
On Skull Island.
Yeah.
And in what capacity?
Monarch has built a Kongtainment zone around him that simulates the night sky, but is like an entirely enclosed indoor space specifically for Kong.
Yeah, they made a little Truman Show for him.
Yeah, why did they do that?
I don't know.
They say that it's because if Kong was out in the open, Godzilla would realize that he's there and they would fight because they're both alpha titans.
Okay.
But this raises the question of why Godzilla and Kong have not fought this entire time until now, considering that we only became sure that Godzilla existed like 10 years ago in universe.
Yeah, the problem with this whole timeline is there has to be a time 10 years ago when the girl was alive and there was a big storm, and then Monarch was not monitoring Kong and didn't seem to have this Kong enclosure set up. Unless maybe, but like there's no weather in the storm. Yeah. So the Kong bubble can't have existed at the same time as the family, like the tribe died. So then that has to not intersect with 2014 Kongs just showing up. And I don't buy that for a second.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. The movie's great, so we ignore it. Who's our other character? What's he up to? Well, I guess, there's so many characters. Okay, so then you have...
they all don't matter.
No, they're all great. Then you have the guy from Apex, who is the guy. I love him. I don't know who this actor is. Who is this actor from stuff?
Well, let's see. This is Demian Bashir.
Is he from anything cool?
Let's see. He's in the
He's
Hateful
from
Eight.
Godzilla vs. Kong.
Machete Kills. The Nun.
I haven't seen Machete Kills. Where is he in Hateful Eight? He's not one of the 8.
Bob. He's in like Alien Covenant.
I don't think I saw that one.
I saw that one. Who's he playing that?
Bob again. Machete.
Might as well be.
Yeah.
The Bridge. Yeah, I don't know if this guy's been anything like big.
None of these movies, seem. I mean, he's bound for greatness after this. And he is the Elon Musk of this company, which is the only way I can describe him. In that he is just as foolish.
Yeah, he's an idealist who's not going to get anything done.
Well, he actually did build a series of tunnels and some sort of hyperloop, so actually he's way cooler than Elon Musk.
Plus, in the whole movie, I don't see him do a single bad tweet.
Yeah. Well, you have to assume whenever he's not on screen, he's pumping, dumping penny stocks. Just like... That's what we love about him. So there's him, and then there's his daughter, played by the one from Bloodshot. The girl from the one. Is it Eliza or Aaliyah?
It's like Aiza. It's Eiza.
Yeah, I know I was wrong about it in some way, but I couldn't remember what. And she was in. She shows up in a lot of things now. I want to say she's been in a couple of movies that we've talked about, but I can't remember which ones because I don't have the thing open. But she plays the Ivanka to his Donald Trump. She's Baby Driver. That's right. Oh, and she is in Alita. I couldn't remember where. I think she's the one who has knives for her hands.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And she's my favorite. She's in that movie. She's in Hobbs and Shaw. She's the girl who has a big house full of sexy ladies doing crimes, and then Jason Statham opens up the mansion, makes out with her. It's the worst.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, she's fucking great. A star is born. So yeah, she is the Ivanka to his Donald, and that leaves one character. So let's talk about the actual main, who I would kind of maybe half say is the main character of the movie if I had to pick one that wasn't a monkey or gorilla thing, or a Godzilla thing.
Lizard.
What's his name?
Alexander Skarsgård is the actor's name. If you put a gun to my head and ask me to say what the name of the character is, I would tell you to pull the trigger.
Yeah. All right. Let me help you. Uncharted series.
Nathan.
I only ever said his last name. So yeah, Nathan.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's
right,
it.
well.
That's pretty good. I mean, he is what's his deal?
So
what is his deal, actually?
Yeah,
now that I think
question.
about it, what is his deal?
As one of several characters who made me go, is he someone I forgot from King of the Monsters? And then looked it up and realized, no, this was his first movie. He and his brother both used to work for Monarch. And he is a big theorist about the Hollow Earth, which in these movies is a real and true thing somehow. But they could never figure out how to get to the Hollow Earth because there's some gravity nonsense happening when you try to go to Hollow Earth that crushes your bones. And so his brother died trying to get to Hollow Earth, and after that he quit Monarch and is now a laughing stock because respectable science doesn't think Hollow Earth is real.
But he works at a university, right, or something?
Yes.
Yeah, he's a professor.
And he published a book, and his brother was killed in a Hollow Earth accident. So why don't we believe in this?
Well, maybe that's classified. Maybe that's not publicly known.
Then why is he able to write the book? I feel like you gotta kill him if you're gonna do that. I don't understand. That's the part I couldn't figure out was
well, it's the same way that you can write books about that time you were Secretary of Defense. It's the Monarch gets to look at it and be like, you can't mention this part, you can't mention this part. And then you just release it where the whole book is basically there's a Hollow Earth, trust me, I know. And
but do people know that his brother died in it?
I don't think so.
He should tell him that part. I mean, he probably isn't allowed to, but still, he should. He's weird.
But Apex Cybernetics guys come to him because they're like, we believe you about the Hollow Earth, and we think that there's a big spout of energy there. What kind of energy? Don't worry about it.
Yeah, Godzilla energy, the kind you can email.
Yeah. Oh my god. I was so angry. I'm like, they're at least 1,000 miles away.
Oh, it's not nearly the stupidest thing about how far away they must be.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're like, we're gonna fund a trip to go to the Hollow Earth, and we want you to help because we have special flying machines that don't get hurt by gravity, so you can get to the Hollow Earth. But
or
to
reverse
find
gravity.
But to find the energy, we need a Kong. And he's like, where are we going to get a Kong? And then we cut to Kong.
But
yeah, we love it.
So this brings up what I think is my biggest question with this movie is why is he there?
Kong?
No, Alexander Skarsgård.
Yeah, it's a good question.
They have the ships.
Mm-hmm.
What does he do besides be there?
I think the idea might be that they had already had that plan already, but they needed someone with an actual relationship with the Kong Whisperer to convince Kong to be part of the operation of the Kongperation.
Interesting. I didn't think about that. Like that could be it.
Because maybe they realize, like, oh, she has a mystical adopted child who can tell when people are evil. So if we go ourselves, she'll be like, they're evil, and they'll say no. But if we send someone who only seems kind of evil, then they'll say yes, but seem uneasy about it the whole time.
Right. That's fair. So then they go to... Oh, by the way, by they, I mean Elon Musk and this other guy. Who
could that other guy be?
I don't know. I'm
looking
sure.
forward to later scenes where he gets fleshed out and we learn more about this mysterious figure.
I mean, he should be the main character, you would assume, because he's related to the only interesting character that has been in more than one of these movies.
Who else could say "let them fight"?
Oh my God!
No,
he didn't
no
say
one
it.
else.
Did he say it?
No,
he didn't. It was a
What
real
are we-
sound.
What are we doing here?
I know.
Oh my God! It's just, oh man, this makes me so angry. Never mind, this movie is bad. This movie is bad. So we've got whatever his name is, Sarazawa, who is, as far as I can tell, what's his name's son, the guy from the last movie's son, and that's insane.
Sarazawa.
Yeah. What's the actor's name? Ken Watanabe's son.
Oh, Ken Watanabe.
Yeah, I couldn't remember the name. And that's wild, considering that he is just considering what he does in the movie and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point? Why is he there? Because we need a Japanese person in the movie, and it's like, well, maybe he's related to this guy. Because I can't figure him out.
We need one person to say Gojira, and they have to be Japanese so that everyone's like, why do the Japanese people specifically say Gojira, but everyone else says Godzilla? That's kind of weird, guys. Maybe we should rethink this decision.
And then someone came on set, some, like, producer smoking a cigar, and was like, oh, that Japanese guy. I guess that's what's his name's son then. And he put the cigar back in his mouth and left. And they were all like, I don't think we were going to do that, but he's the boss. So you know what? You're his son.
Like that time George Lucas walked into some, I think it was like a Clone Wars or Rebels meeting, and like picked up two figures of Sith Lords and went, they're friends. And then like walked out. And they just had to write that.
If only we could be so lucky. Because at least then, this one is so stupid, but also, like, it adds nothing. But also, I mean, I guess if anything, you could say maybe it's a red herring. I was kind of expecting something to come from it, but nothing. Not a single thing.
It was a weird... This feels like a movie that was rewritten many, many times, and so maybe that mattered in a previous draft, and it's just kind of an artifact of that.
Yeah, I can see that.
Need to be rewritten to just make them fight more.
Oh,
well, listen, if that was the goal, then they nailed it.
Yeah.
I mean, fair.
I'd rather that than him longingly staring at a picture of his dad and talking about some bullshit with fucking Bradley Whitford about his sacrifice and having some sort of change of heart and blah, 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 whatever. Who cares? That's what I say. That's what most of us say. So then we have what I think is not the weirdest. Okay, so the bad guy, not bad guys. Well, I mean, they just seem like Elon Musk types. So the heroes of the movie convince the Skarsgård one to go and convince Kong Whisperer to let King Kong go kind of near a hole so they can track King Kong down the hole so that King Kong will use his memory of like his ancestors.
His genetic memory is his
genetic memory to travel to an obvious statue kind of thing and then solve a puzzle. And then that will be an energy source that will power the world. I guess that's what they tell Alexander Skarsgård, something like that, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And he's like, okay, I'm a laughing stock.
On board.
I want to get away from these dang flutes. So that's where they put him. That's insane.
Well, the thing is, Nando, they cut right before they cut right before Walter Simmons, I think is the CEO's name. Right before he says, also we'll give you lots of money. And then Nathan's like, oh, okay, no. All right, that makes sense. Yeah, got it.
And it's like, it's really weird because this expedition to get Kong, I get it. He's on the expedition because of what you said. He has to convince the guy the thing. And then they get Rebecca Ferguson and not Rebecca Ferguson, excuse me, Rebecca Hall and the little girl and Kong. And it's just like everybody goes on the expedition. Everybody that's around. As if they have special knowledge, or he has special knowledge about the Hollow Earth, besides the fact that it exists. It's so weird. He's so weird in this movie, but I loved it because I don't think he's that important, and he does a cool thing at the end that I loved. But besides that, like, I don't know, this is pretty silly.
I must admit, I was a little confused as to why, maybe the Whisperer's there to, like, figure out what Kong's doing, but to have the little girl there and put her in such danger, that's crazy to me. Like, that's just bad parenting.
Well, but who else is going to talk to Kong, DJ?
Yeah, that's the only part of the mission that actually makes sense to me. You gotta get her there.
But the woman, Rebecca Hall, is the Kong Whisperer.
Like, is she, though? Or does she just know the girl? Like, it seems like she trots out the girl whenever she wants to get anything done, so...
Yeah, why is she really the Kong Whisperer? Also, is Kong public knowledge? Because they seem to be hiding Kong. So I get, but people just know about Kong, I guess?
I mean, listen.
Brie Larson was a photojournalist, so maybe word got out.
But then why was everyone surprised that there was a big lizard if everyone already knew by then that there's a big monkey?
Maybe Brie Larson didn't tell anybody until the lizard, and then she was like, oh, yeah, this is my time.
I forgot about this. This is so crazy, you guys. I went to this island with a big monkey.
Maybe because, like, a big monkey is just a bigger version of something we already have. But, like, there's no like, mini Godzilla, right? Like, because lizards don't look like Godzilla. They're going to, like, crawl around on all fours, right?
I think you'll find a certain Godzilla does just that in this movie.
Okay, right, but I'm saying there's no bipedal lizards that are, like, small Godzillas, like how gorillas are small King Kongs. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, are gorillas small King Kongs or are Kongs big gorillas?
Yeah, if anything, I think the Kong would be a harder sell, honestly. Because if it was like it's a big, giant dinosaur monster thing, I'd be like, yeah, okay, that's big. There's evolution and all kinds of stuff. Versus like there's a monkey and it's 1,000,000 feet tall. I'd be like, well, no, that's probably not it. It's probably something else. It's probably got extra legs or a tail. I don't know. But no, it's just a monkey that's extra big, and it's mostly a guy. It's a guy in this movie before it was a monkey. And that's fine.
I get that.
But yeah, I don't know, man.
So yeah, they go on this Hollow Earth trip, and they put many people in danger who do not need to be put in danger. So it's crazy, right? Because they're in this little vehicle, and like it's almost like a hovercraft, kinda, and they're all in these like nifty suits, and the daughter's there, right? And she's like, I'm gonna get this from my father. And then they go in, and it's like, look, once we go through this into the Hollow Earth, it could be crazy. Gravity could be all backwards and stuff, and we're gonna go 1,000 miles in 2 seconds. And I'm like, whoa, what? Are there like wormholes inside the Earth? I still don't fully understand how this Hollow Earth theory works. Is it like if you go below the ocean and then below the crust deep enough, there's like a whole nother world inside Earth?
Yes. Yeah, what's not to get? That's exactly what happens in real life and in this.
It's like gravity reverses, and then on the underside of the crust is more land, where there's this whole other Earth inside of our Earth.
But what's the sky?
The sky is the Earth. Core of the Earth.
Yeah, you saw it. It's like,
all right,
if he jumps up, he goes to the extra sky and lands on that land.
What the fuck do they breathe?
Air from the holes. It's like a biome. There's like trees and shit there.
Right, but I don't know. You guys buy this? This is a thing you guys buy?
It's not a thing that I don't buy.
In what sense? Do I buy it in the sense of where I watched this movie and became a Hollow Earth truther? No. Well, do I buy it in the sense of I want to watch the lizard punch the monkey, and I'm like, and they say Hollow Earth, and I'm like, cool, all right. Yeah.
All right, so okay, but all right, I understand. I'm not trying to come too hard down on the fantasy monkey lizard punching movie. All I'm saying is there's a limit, right? Like uploading energy via fucking Wi-Fi, right? That's absolute bullshit. So now, I'm trying to put Hollow Earth in that category, right?
This has passed what... See, like, yeah, the downloading energy, the Hollow Earth, all of this passes what I call the stupid threshold. Mm-hmm. Where you've made the plot of your movie so stupid that it has wrapped back around to, I can't take this seriously, to, this is so stupid that I admire your commitment. You understand what we're doing here, and I'm on board.
I see.
Yeah, if anything, my problem in this movie with the Hollow Earth is how different it feels from the last movie where we also went to the Hollow Earth. Like, we went to what felt like the city of Atlantis, and it was like all ruins and stuff, and it was kind of underwater mostly, and then we go to this Hollow Earth, and it's completely different. And it also has what seems like the center of it, like the main place, with the seat and everything. And I'm like, I guess maybe it's two different, like, I don't know, cities of it, but it feels very much like this movie was the Aquaman and that movie was the Justice League, but they both had to do Atlantis, but neither were able to tell the other one what theirs looked like. So one is dark and grim and the other one is cool and nice. But yeah, I mean, for what the Hollow Earth accomplishes, I don't mind it. I mean, it's about as good as the Rift in terms of just like there's little portals that take you to another place. And the place happens to be in the center of the Earth. I mean, I think the fact that it's the center of the Earth is kind of stupid, but I don't know, whatever. It does. I don't know why it doesn't bother me.
They do basically go through a portal when going to the Hollow Earth.
Right.
It's really stupid.
Like that. Okay. Right. Let's admit that's really fucking stupid, right?
Yeah. No. I would have not disagreed on the classification of stupidity on anything here. It's all very dumb.
Yeah. So this is where I think. So those ships are important because what's her name? Fucking so excited about the ships. Ivanka is like, you wouldn't believe it. We made ships with the little magnets or whatever. You can clap now. Thank you for ship approval. And it's very funny. She is so awesome. And the problem with that, or like the thing there, is they show the ships and they're like, these are the ships. Here, they seat about 4 people, 2 in the front, 2 in the back. They're covered with screens. Enjoy your ride in the ship. And I was like, oh, okay, from this point on, this is an amusement park ride. And that's just what the movie is. And from then on, it totally was. And so that's why I didn't mind the Hollow Earth thing, is it's like, oh, we'll go to a cool place with like a funky, another jungle, but not the one from the last movie. And then, we're going through another portal to the part where it's like, the Hong Kong, like this movie, man.
I watched this movie with my dad, and at that part, my dad, who, I love my dad. He's not the quippiest fellow.
Okay.
But he turned to me and he said, like, so this is going to be the new ride at Universal, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
without a doubt.
That's like a great beat by your dad, I gotta say. Like, that's...
No, he was 100% right. I was thinking the same thing.
It's got the same fucking dopey design as, like, the things that you sit in the Star Tours ride. Like, it's just the same thing. Yeah. Like, it's gonna rock around a little bit and it'll shake and there'll be a big gravity spin moment and then... Yeah, that's
and then
the whole
you'll get
ride.
Close to Kong's face, and Kong will roar, and you'll be like, "Whoa!" You'll
oh my
back
god!
up a little,
Real spit
and then zoom
comes from
through
outside
past...
the thing. Yeah.
So I mean,
it was amazing. It's
you could say all that.
It's almost like. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. After you.
I was just gonna say it's like if at the end of Star Wars Episode 9 or 7 or whatever, everybody just got in the ship from Star Tours and flew around the end of the movie together. Like it's almost. I'm almost so impressed by its. Like a brand awareness. And there's so much shit where these characters were like, we'll get in the ship and she's like, whatever it's called, Hipvo or whatever. And it's like,
ooh, it was the
it's
heave.
Like,
it was
the right.
Hollow Earth aerial vehicle.
Well, that's the other thing. There's 2 of them, right? Because there's that, and then there's the other one that's the thing that Millie Bobby Brown takes. That's also the amusement park. They're gonna have to mush them into one thing. But maybe they'll make 2 rides. But there's
that one,
bit
like
where,
you said, is just the Elon Musk Hyperloop.
Yeah. Well, I still think that will also be like that one felt like more of a ride than the other ones, just because of how it felt like I could totally see that amusement park like walk up area where it looks like a big giant explosion, and then you walk through a door and then everything's purple and glowy, and it's like, welcome to the getting in the thing to go to China, and then you get off the thing, and then it's like your car bumps around the middle of that thing that we can't talk about yet because of the surprise. But like that part felt more like a ride than anything. But yeah, the movie could not stop introducing boring, boxy 4-person cars. It loved them. It was so great. Oh, I love it. I love it. I can't wait to ride that ride. The ride's gonna be dope. It's gonna be the best ride.
Listen, Universal has some like really good rides. The Jurassic Park ride is amazing. I love that.
The Mummy ride.
The Mummy ride is so good. The Men in Black ride. Dudley Do Right. Oh man, Universal has so many good rides.
And everyone's favorite Transphobia World.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Dig it.
I mean,
you stinker.
Yeah, but so maybe they'll like change it up. Maybe it'll it won't, but that would be a great, like, this would be a fun, because Godzilla used to live in the other park that wasn't the one that Transphobia World existed in. It used to live in whatever, plain old Universal Studios, right? So maybe that one can just be the cool park now. Although the other one has Spider-Man, which is a ride I quite like. But yeah, the Mummy's in the one with they used to have the Godzilla ride. Man,
if Universal made a Godzilla World, I would go there so fast.
I'm legit surprised that at no point did Godzilla pick up the car, look at it, and then throw it away. Right? Didn't do that. Right?
Kong kind of did that.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Right?
What's up?
He I guess he crushes it. He doesn't throw it away.
Yeah. Maya Simmons, Isa Gonzalez's character, dies unceremoniously without having accomplished anything.
I laughed so hard, and I gave props to the movie, because usually, right, they kind of fake you out where it's like, oh, this stupid villain character won't, like, die until the end because we're being cheeky. Nah, this movie leaned into it so good. Like, that is the thing. This movie, again, there were way more highs than lows, and I think it did a lot of stuff really good and fun. I just can't get over some of the stuff that we're going to talk about. I really do have a problem with it, but, like, that part I thought was great. I thought it was very funny.
I guess what I'm looking for is that moment where Godzilla picks up your car, or King Kong, doesn't matter which one, picks up your car, shakes it a little bit, and then throws it away. Because that's always in those rides. The bad guy or, Carnage gets on your car and jumps around. Like, there was that's all we were missing. But besides that, yeah, it was the same exact. It's just like they made the thing. It's perfect. They don't even need to use new assets. They have all kinds of footage of the characters in the movie explaining the car. Like, it's so easy to make this into a ride.
It would be amazing. Go on this ride with me. So you're in the Heave, and so I don't know. In Disneyland, there's the Cars ride, and it's like a race. So depending on what car you're in, you actually go to like a different body shop, and like one of your cars actually wins. So it's like a different experience. So what if in this ride, right, in the one Heave, you're with Rebecca Hall, and you're with the good guy crew and Alexander Skarsgård, and the other one you're in the bad guy crew with Isa Gonzalez. And if you're in that one, Kong crushes your Heave and you die, and like you go to hell, and they yell at you.
Like it.
You laugh.
You die in real life. You mean?
And Lil Nas X dances on your butt, right? That's how it has to go.
So you laugh. But this is a really weird thing. If you've ever been on Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, it used to be at Disney World, it's not anymore. It's still in Disneyland. In that ride, spoiler alert for Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, you get hit by a train and get sent to hell, like in the ride.
Oh my god.
I know.
Like, actually, like there's a train that runs through that ride, and if you ride it, you die and go to hell.
Oh my god. They should have closed that ride down that first time. But those dang investors, they had to be like, no, pretend it's part of it, and we'll just make sure the train hits every car. Aha! This is capitalism in its finest.
That ride ran for decades. It was crazy.
Killed so many
people died.
Yeah. Well, it's like the Mummy ride has that bit where the ride's over, and then you're about to get out, but you can't because your thing doesn't go. And then in this like control booth, it turns out the mummy is there, and the ride goes again. Do you remember that? One of the best amusement park experiences. That stupid ass ride.
I'm not sure I've ever been on that ride, to be honest.
It's pretty fun. I'm sure it's still. I guess I'm not sure it's still kicking. I hope so. I know they're making like a Secret Life of Pets ride, and there's a Transformers one. So I don't know if it's gotten squeezed out yet, but I do remember quite liking it. But yeah, so this one will definitely be a ride. 2 rides, maybe 3. I could see a Millie Bobby Brown ride being maybe the most fun of the rides. I don't know.
Is that the one where you sit in the contraption? They're like, okay, now we're gonna put on a podcast.
Yeah,
you have to like find clues inside the podcast audio.
Oh my god, we need to start working with Universal because I mean the podcast that he made was fine, but I think he could have, it could have been longer. That's what I'm saying. They could take some notes from mostly nitpicking, and we could help them make a good podcast that's like the length of a ride. 50 times.
Now.
Be a lot more rambling and incomprehensible.
Well, can you imagine? Because it's just him. Like he's got no host, so he just has to go. That seems like an impossible task. Now, I will say this about our podcast, Nando. Who's to say we haven't embedded, thousands of clues across the years of episodes of mostly nitpicking and mad bracket status?
I put some of the clues in my videos too, maybe.
I'm getting a little tired of waiting for people to figure it out.
Yeah.
I know.
But maybe they never will, and maybe Godzilla will eat them. I don't know what's going to happen, It's whether they want to save the world or not.
I think that's a good point, Nando.
Yeah. Yep. Yes, but no. Anyway, I think the best thing about this movie is that it is
7.
The other parts of the movie that are good are all of the rest of it. But also, every time, I think a drinking game in this movie, if someone wanted to make one, would be that. It would be like, drink when you remember that this is an amusement park ride. When, like, something about the angle of the shot or the way we spin through stuff is like, oh, yeah, that's going to be in the ride. Because there's quite a lot of that. And I loved it.
Yeah.
Like the fucking Hollow Earth. When you go to the Hollow Earth, it's just lights. Like there's nothing hard to recreate. It could just be neon bullshit. It's fine. It's so easy.
I have to say, so when they, we're in the Hollow Earth and it's so it's a 2-hour movie and we're around the hour mark when it's like picking up in the Hollow Earth and I'm looking, this is when my DoorDash came today. And by the way, as I got my DoorDash, I'm like, fuck man, watching a movie at home fucking rocks. So standing by it,
I did take a very well placed pee break in this movie that I was very happy with. That I would have like at exactly the time when I would never have taken one if I couldn't have paused it. Because I gotta see how this thing goes. But it's the
perfect. Best. So anyway, so it's around the hour mark, and I'm like, how the fuck are we gonna get to Godzilla fighting Kong? And how we get there, I gotta say, I didn't see it coming, but it's the fucking stupidest thing ever. And I get it, Diggins, to your point. Like, that's the point of this movie, is to lean into the nonsense. But I'm just watching it, and I'm like, my brain is melting out of the side of my ear. I don't understand.
I just can't. I cannot endorse these thoughts. As a member of a podcast where it's all secret code, I cannot endorse DJ's secret code.
Okay, listen, 23. There's the fantastical parts, which are there is giant monkey and giant lizard, and they trap giant monkey in dome, and they put him on battleship, and then they airlift him. Fine, whatever. I'll put that aside. But then there's dumb bullshit like, and I'll just say it now, this is how we get to this part of the action. Godzilla shoots his fucking atomic breath 1,000 miles into the hollow.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
So many thousands.
What are we doing?
Not even that, DJ. Godzilla happens to be directly above King Kong at this precise moment in time.
Well,
and fires his atomic breath straight down, and it shoots through the entire crust of the earth and blasts up into King Kong.
I mean, as long as Godzilla's on the same hemisphere, he's gonna get King Kong eventually, right? Like, it seems like King Kong is in the center of the Hollow Earth center. Not like he's in the center of it, but like, you shoot down enough, you're gonna hit a King Kong one of these days. Also, the diameter of the Earth, 8,000 miles. So he went 4,000 miles. That's a lot of 1,000 miles. And he just made a big hole.
I
It
think the
didn't
Mariana
disturb the
Trench
plates.
is like 7 miles. And that's like the deepest part that we know of, right?
Yeah, so that
God.
fucking sucks compared to this, which is awesome.
Wouldn't
This
that
is so
do
much
something? I'm not a
Yeah,
geologist or physicist or whatever, but wouldn't that like do something?
Yeah.
Wouldn't shit start collapsing?
I don't know too much about Hong Kong, but I know, like, you know, it's near Japan, which is, there's earthquakes there and stuff, right?
Mhm.
Like, so I figure somewhere's getting an earthquake. I don't know where.
Yeah,
Maybe
thank
it's not
you.
Hong
Yes,
Kong, but
yes.
somebody's getting an earthquake.
Thank you.
And you know what? I mean, considering the alternative, I guess it's better, because...
Godzilla destroying.
Or
Well-
maybe something else happening, you know, something
Well, we need
worse.
to, we should talk about that. We should talk about that. Man,
I don't
we
know.
talked
Let's
about
just
the
skip
plot.
to the end. Okay, so they go fight.
Okay.
All right, so the first fight. Let's talk about the fights. So let's
Yeah,
spoilers
let's talk
from
about
here on out.
Let's
Who
talk about
cares?
the good parts of the movie.
Yeah. So yeah, if you think you're gonna watch
All
this
of them.
movie, I think you could. The ends of it is kind of fun, and
Yeah,
knowing stuff. Probably don't spoil it for yourself. I do think this is the kind of thing that Twitter's going to argue about a lot, and the spoilers will be hard to miss.
Yeah.
But
true.
that being said, maybe watch this movie. What you guys think of the fights? So we got 3 fights, kind of. It's really 2 fights split in half for the second one.
So we're talking about like ocean fights, the first one, right?
The first fight is Battleship Fight.
Yeah,
What do we think of that?
That fight obviously the weakest because it's like our intro fight with what's going on. I thought it was like pretty all right though. Most of it's in the trailers, unfortunately, but yeah, I thought it was good.
I loved that King Kong took a page out of Asuka's playbook from Neon Genesis Evangelion and started jumping across the ships.
I like
That was pretty tight, right?
I think my favorite part of that scene. Well, there were some parts of that were great. Because my favorite part of that scene was we did not see them capture King Kong. Unless I had I blacked out. We cut straight to King Kong is already sedated and on the boat, which was awesome.
Yeah.
I would like to imagine that they captured him the same way they captured him in the 1962 King Kong versus Godzilla.
How's that?
Godzilla gets totally zonked out on berry juice, and then they play a sick drum beat that makes him fall asleep.
Well, maybe Jack Black just hurled bottles of chloroform at it until it passed out.
Well, one of those two. Probably one of those two things.
Whatever modern Jack Black does. And it was great because we didn't have to watch it get caught. We just got it. And because I guess King Kong was pretty sympathetic in this. It probably killed a bunch of people during that whole thing where it got caught on the boat. So, like, might as well not show that. And it's chained onto the boat with whatever. It's like carbonized metal again. We just can't stop chaining King Kong to stuff. It's going to work one of these days. I mean, it works.
It
pretty
does
much.
work in this movie. They have to let him go.
And there's a button for it. Thank God.
Mm-hmm.
There's a release King Kong lever that in a pinch you can pull.
In case of emergency, release monkey.
Okay. But I guess the first big action scene, is Godzilla destroying the base, which is fine. Godzilla is pretty cool in this for Godzilla. Because it's smacking things with its tail and whatnot. That's good.
You know what kills me? The heel turn of Godzilla just bothered me. Because he's supposed to be friend to all children, but now he's painted to be just, complete monster.
And he didn't kill any children, as far as we know.
All right, fair.
Any kids on that boat? There was one, and she survived, so everybody on a boat was an adult.
I like my hero Godzilla, all right? I don't like evil Godzilla. I'll say that.
So Godzilla is destroying facilities for a reason no one could have possibly predicted, having watched the trailer. And then...
No one on this podcast has ever said out loud on this podcast before.
No, yeah. So we'll leave that up to our fine listeners to guess what we're talking about, because we'll kind of spoil it in order. But then, so the first fight is Godzilla on a boat, or like Godzilla versus Kong on a boat. There's boat stuff. It's like battleships and regular tankers that hold the Godzilla and stuff, and there's planes. There's all kinds of business.
The main action takes place on an aircraft carrier that Kong jumps to from ship to ship.
Yeah. And Godzilla is able to land on.
Well, Godzilla just comes up out of the water and picks himself up onto the aircraft carrier.
Yeah, I guess it's for me. Godzilla seems way heavier than King Kong. So, like, I expect if he tries to get on it for it to sink, but I guess not.
Well, Kong is very top heavy. His weight is more in his chest and his head, whereas Godzilla has a dump truck ass. So
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
A lot of junk in that trunk.
So Godzilla just kind of seems heavier because he's very, like, bottom heavy, but I think they're probably roughly equivalent in size.
Well, like, King Kong has, like, Godzilla has, like, extra shielding and shit for
Yeah, so that he's got more cushion for the punch.
Yeah, that's true. And
So
I guess having King Kong jump on that ship, I was like, whoa, guys, that is not good for that ship. And then having Godzilla get on it, I was like, I don't know. Maybe
yeah, that is the
maybe
world's
I don't know
most
that much about
buoyant
ships.
ship.
Yeah, it's a pretty good ship. What did we think of that fight?
I
Again,
thought
like,
it was pretty cool.
Me too. What was your favorite part? Outside of mine.
What was that?
Oh, you can do yours.
Godzilla whipping the fighter jets out of the air with his tail was pretty tight.
I see. Speaking of fighter jets, I liked when King Kong threw a fighter jet at Godzilla.
With
So
a
it's just
pilot
like,
in it.
these seem useful. Yeah, well, he didn't know. And the guy got out. he ejected. I also like the pilot that managed to get off of the aircraft carrier mid-flying. Like, as it was just about to go nuts, he was like, "Get the fuck off of this thing." That was a fun, because we saw it, like, from his perspective, and I was like, oh, good. I was worried about him for a second. What about you, Diggins? What was your favorite part?
Ooh, I think I like when Kong knocked Godzilla into the water, and then Godzilla was like, fuck this, and blew up the aircraft carrier with his atomic breath.
Yeah. I mean, Godzilla, yeah, it is a miracle that Kong survived that fight. Like, an absolute just miracle.
One could say it's a miracle. One could say it was an act of mercy, an act of graciousness on Godzilla's part. I think, he had Kong and chose to let Kong live because he is the better lizard.
I mean, he was scared of the depth charges for a little bit. That didn't hurt.
They had to play dead. Like, they had to fake that they were defeated. The implication was Godzilla was going to fuck him up.
Yeah, I mean, he's just like a egotistical, I don't know, like, jerk. I don't know what to tell you. King Kong is, like, noble, and he wants to help us, and Godzilla just wants to prove himself to, I guess, himself. He's really got to get, he needs, like,
really,
therapy.
when you think about the plot of this movie, Godzilla spends the whole movie trying to fix the problem, and Kong spends the whole movie just getting in his way for no reason.
I mean, Kong isn't even really in Godzilla's way.
You're right. I mean, he's barely a speed bump, but, it's the principle.
Kong is doing his own thing, and Godzilla is like, oh, instead of dealing with what I believe is a really big problem, I've got to fight this ape because of my ego. Like, Kong's just trying to have a good time and enjoy himself. And if Godzilla's got all that shit to do, he should probably just do it and then deal with Kong later. But he keeps getting distracted by, like I said, his big giant ego.
But
how's he supposed to know that Kong isn't in cahoots? How's he supposed to know Kong's not part of the problem?
Because Kong's
this is
not
it's a whole new alpha signature that he's never seen before. Maybe it's related. He doesn't know.
I mean, maybe it's related, but also I feel like Godzilla knows where he is going, and he knows what he is looking for, and he's always, like, kind of on the way. And then it's like, but if we let Godzilla's like, he's got an objective. He seems to be going to specific places because of, I don't know, magical energy stuff. Do we know how he finds them?
He senses it.
Okay,
It's like the mother box. You just have a sense for it. So.
Yeah. So then he finds those things, and, like, he knows where he's going, but then he's like, but, I mean, I have this big grudge because of family stuff. Like, because of the cave paintings and the Egyptian scrolls and all that art we saw, we know that these two animals have been fighting forever, so he has to make it personal, I don't know. I mean, at least I'm not saying Godzilla's stupid, but I am saying Godzilla should know better by this point that King Kong probably isn't involved, since it wasn't at the place where he thought it was anyway.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, what is Godzilla getting after? Is it, I must prove I'm alpha, so any monster who I remotely see has to fucking die? Or is it, hey, these humans are being dickheads, I must stop human dickheads? Like, I feel like there's competing Godzilla objectives, which, does the movie do the too many villains thing, or is it more of a Batman v Superman thing? For the inevitable team up, right? So what are we
doing? They can't team up, DJ. They're enemies, so
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, that's never gonna
sorry.
happen.
Versus is in the title.
I forgot that Batman just cut Superman's head off.
Yeah, that's the. Did you watch the unlimited cut or whatever? It's just
that does happen in that version.
It's just Batman cutting Superman's head off and then putting Superman's body on chains and dragging it around for exercise. Yeah, as Alfred watches and you're like, yeah, makes.
Does he get so swole?
Yeah, protein shake tea. He does. He gets very swole. It's in slow motion. It's probably like a minute of film, but it's like 4 hours of, it's very long. But okay. So then the monkey and the Godzilla fight. And, Godzilla's busting up aircraft carriers. I mean, Godzilla has to know either Godzilla thinks the monkey is the problem and kills the monkey, or Godzilla just wants to prove its point and then keeps going about its business.
Well, Godzilla, like Batman, usually, although he takes a hard stance on justice, he refuses to kill. He doesn't want to kill Kong. He wants Kong to just learn his lesson and, stay out of Godzilla's way so Godzilla can fix the problem. So, if he thinks Kong's learned his lesson, which seems like he does then, because, he lays down, he's like, okay, you win. Godzilla's like, all right, cool. We're okay then. I'm going to go handle the situation. You just chill right here, man.
How do we know that Godzilla
he wants to give King Kong this chance?
No, how do we know that he didn't think he killed Kong? He's like, oh, I won. Peace. Right?
Oh, please. You're telling me that they turned off the engine and Godzilla was like, oh, I guess they're dead then. Come on. Come on.
That's all Godzilla knows of man. He's like, these fuckers are always trying with the noise and everything that's going on, blah, blah, blah. Like, he's like, that's all he knows.
That's true. He's like the big fat Grinch. He's like the big evil radioactive Grinch. He's just like these humans in their Christmas and they're singing in the square. I gotta blow them all up to teach them a lesson. And King Kong is his hero dog. Max the hero dog. Mm-hmm. And Jeffrey Tambor is the businessman. Christine Baranski is the Kong Whisperer. Who else is in that movie? Others. Lots of cameos. Ron Howard's in there, I think, somewhere. Anyway. So that first fight, pretty good. Yeah, I mean, it's a miracle that King Kong survives. But it's a water fight, and King Kong is nearly drowned before it starts because the stupid humans won't release him from his chains. So I would say it's the fairest of fights. But, he does okay. I think King Kong gets a big punch. Yeah. That was pretty cool. That was true. The punch from the trailer.
He got some good hits in, though.
Yeah. Can he swim?
I mean, yeah, he pulls himself out of the water at the end there.
Yeah. So that was good. It's good that he can swim. What else? What else happens between that and the next big fight?
Well, all the Hollow Earth stuff.
Yeah. What do we want to say? Let's talk about that. DJ, you have the biggest problem with Hollow Earth?
It's not like the Hollow Earth concept, like, fine. Whatever.
So you believe it, you just don't believe it in the movie. You think the Earth is hollow. There's monsters that live there, and they're like flying bats and stuff.
It's crazy that Godzilla could shoot an atomic breath thing like 1,000 feet into the Earth. Like, come on.
Also, King Kong entered the Hollow Earth in Antarctica, walked for like half an hour, and was directly beneath Hong Kong.
Gravity, Diggins, gravity.
Well, I mean, he fell through the giant wormhole, which I think takes you thousands of feet in a second. But then it lands if you land in the center of the Earth, then I don't know. It's not that far to being underneath Hong Kong, especially if you're a Godzilla.
Well, it depends how deep in the crust the Hollow Earth is. Because if it's like all the way through the crust, through the mantle, like close to the core, then the comparative surface area is much smaller. But if it's just the crust, it's not that much smaller.
I feel like we see a picture of it or some diagram or something, and it's pretty far in there. But I don't know is it a real theory? Obviously not with Godzilla, but just in general.
It was like a real theory in the 1800s when nobody knew anything about anything.
What
we
did they
were all
think?
like dumb as hell.
Did they think it was just like right under the surface and like, you know, it was like Mole Man and the Mole People, or did they think it was
Right?
big dinosaurs at the very bottom of the earth, like in the?
Well, I mean, that's what
dead
the
center.
famous novel about Hollow Earth is. But
Journey to the
what's-
center of the earth.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, this is a lot like Aquaman.
Okay,
It-
so
now-
by the mid 1700s, we knew Hollow Earth was wrong,
That's what we thought we knew
but was still occasionally defended through the mid 19th century.
by visionaries, whose brothers had all exploded in Hollow Earth accidents. What does the ship do that makes it so good? By the way,
It could like move in like 3-dimensional space, no problem.
It's got gravity shields that
Okay.
shield you from
Right.
gravity.
all right, that's fine. Also, why is what's her name? Why is Ivanka surprised by it? She has a whole speech like, "Oh, it's the coolest ship. Don't worry." And then she gets in one, and then what's his name's like, "By the way, you're probably gonna throw up. It's really shaky." She's like, "What?"
I mean, she wasn't ready to move at Mach a billion, right?
What did
like
she
that's
think the
not
ship was supposed to do?
I mean, I don't know, not that.
This is gonna go at Mach, half a billion, and then he was like, "No, a billion." I feel like she probably should have been the one giving him the air sickness bag, but hey, whatever. She's got to be both the suit and the suit that designed the whole thing. I mean, that's kind of what I'd expect from an Ivanka type, honestly. Comes in, gives a speech that someone told her, gets in the thing, and then someone is like, "Wait, you don't know what this is, do you?" And she's like, "No, I know." And it's like, "Okay, well, it's gonna make it throw up." She's like, "I never said that."
Yeah, you know what goes on here.
Yeah. What do we think of the Hollow Earth animals? So what animals do we get introduced to in the Hollow Earth? There's quite a few.
Well, there's only two that like matter, isn't there?
There's like a little baby Godzilla one, right? Or something like that.
Oh yeah, we see like the rolling little insect boys, and then the big lizard that eats one of them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But there's only two that like they fight.
That's true. Yeah. Hollow Earth is pretty cool. That's gonna make
So-
a cool ride.
Yeah.
Very
So-
Pandora vibe.
So there is the one that flies like a bat, and then there's the one that flies like a bird, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now
That's
the
right.
one that flies like a bird is the war bat, and the one that flies like a bat is the hellhawk.
Okay.
Okay. Are you sure they didn't just make a mistake when they named them? I think this sounds like they made a mistake.
No, I'm being 100% serious right now.
No. And these are not from whatchamacallit, right? These aren't from previous Godzillas.
No,
Or are they?
these are new. These are new fellas.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, they're pretty cool.
Yeah,
I
so
like
the
ones that are wraparound guys.
Yeah, the war bat, which is again the bird-like one, is like a big long snake with leather flaps around its body so that it flaps like wings. So it kind of like zigzags in air to fly. It's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
And they meet these guys as soon as they go through the Hollow Earth portal. And I think that's one of the ones they do the fake out you're about to get eaten on the ride thing with, is one of them's about to get eaten by one of the war bats, and then Kong saves them.
Yeah.
Kong swings does a giant swing with the one war bat into another war bat and like beats him up.
Because Kong is also good boy.
That is
Because
gonna
Kong
be,
is a WWE professional.
it's gonna
Well,
be pretty
that's,
cool in the ride. It like grabs you and
Nando's
shakes you
excited
around.
for the ride. He's very
I think they
excited
should
for
make
the
a whole
ride.
theme park about just this guy. We should Disney, you have a shot. Buy this whole thing, tear down your stupid Avatar park, and then make it this instead, because this is cooler.
Oh, shade on
It's a
the
million
Avatar
times cooler
part.
than the stupid
If
Avatar park.
If Animal Kingdom had Godzilla Land, I would love that.
Oh my god, I would go. Because Godzilla, man, fucking Avatar is nothing. It's all kinds of silly mysticism and the rocks float. But man, that doesn't look like anything. But this, it looks like Godzilla's so big, you could just build a big Godzilla and it would look so cool. That's all you need. The problem is the sight lines. You have to make it so you can't see Godzilla from the Magic Kingdom as well. Or maybe you want it to. Maybe it's like Godzilla looms large over the entire Disney park. And then maybe King Kong's on the other side. I don't know.
You just have to make it like the 1998 Godzilla, where as soon as there's a single building between you and him, he magically vanishes.
It's the best place for him to hide. Disney World is completely surrounded by water. I just love it. I love that place with the rocks and the bit where King Kong jumps and then he lands on the ceiling again. That's cool.
Yeah.
he's happy there. He's happy to meet his family. They're not there, but still he's happy about the whole idea.
It's his touch your fist to the side of your head, which is probably actually sign language for home. The sign language seems accurate enough.
Everything in there, from what I could tell, I don't know a ton of ASL. I know like a tiny bit, but yeah, they were pretty on. So like that's good, right?
That'd be so funny if they got a deaf actress and then just were like, do this and then this, and she's like, that's not what my things are, and like no one will know. That would be just classic Hollywood.
No show would ever tell someone to make up a sign language for their non-speaking character, Nando.
Well, if you live on the moon, it's different, okay? It's different if you live on the moon. He got really into it and was really excited about his stupid made-up sign language, so it's great.
I still feel bad for him.
He's making millions of dollars now. Don't feel so bad. He's on that Star Trek show. I don't know. He seems like a fine guy, fine actor. It's like Perlmutter's fault. Everything's his fault, really, when you get down to it. But so they go to Hollow Earth.
Those pearls.
What'd you say?
Always muttering at those pearls.
That's right. Speaking of muttering at things like Perlmutter does, Ivanka, when they get to... Okay, so what do we find? All right, so then Godzilla finds the Temple of Godzillas, I guess, or whatever the fuck that they... Or, excuse me, King Kong finds the Temple of Kongs. Kongs?
Who made that?
Kongs did.
I guess they did.
They are builders also?
Yeah.
Maybe the Skull Island people are from
it's so matter of fact.
the Hollow Earth. Because they made it like, it doesn't look, there's like a random big pile of rocks that kind of looks like a chair, but then there's also like the Vatican in the background. So I don't like, I don't know who made that second part. The first part, I think Kong could make, but the second part, I think they have people that live there too. Maybe aliens, because aliens exist in these worlds, so that's probably it.
Ghidorah was an alien.
Yeah, we'll get to him in a second. Or them.
What are you talking about? He died in the last movie, Nando. There's no way we'd ever get back to him.
That's exactly what they want you to think. Speaking of that,
they definitely want you to think that. Yeah.
Well, we'll get to it. But also, okay, so King Kong, what does he find in the Temple of Kongs?
He finds a big axe that some ancient Kong left behind.
Yeah, that they made out of Hollow Earth materials.
Well, they made out of a Godzilla fin.
Yeah. And if you paid attention to the marketing, it was pretty clear that was what that axe was. And I was really bummed that King Kong didn't rip it out of Godzilla's back. Like, I was really excited for the first fight, for them to be going kind of toe-to-toe. King Kong to, rip a spine out of Godzilla's back and then fashion the weapon instead of just find it.
I mean, that would have required King Kong to have a, fair and square upper hand on Godzilla at one point, which would just be completely unrealistic.
I mean, listen, King Kong, he's very fast. He's very smart. He can use his wits in a way that Godzilla is big. And if he had the right environment, I think King Kong would do great. And he does when things are going well for him.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah. I mean, King Kong is borderline dead this entire movie. There's no point in this movie where King Kong's fighting at 100%.
It's true.
He is drowned and thrown through the Hollow Earth bullshit twice, and he has to fight things that scratch him, and then he has to fight Godzilla, and it's just like, man, let him take a rest, and then it'll be, it's like if you beat up a guy, if like Mike Tyson ran a marathon, and then had to do a boxing match, he lost the boxing match. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, he's gonna. That's how it goes. It's not a fair fight, but yeah, that's just.
I mean, we'll get there, Nando.
We'll get there. So yeah, he finds the axe, and the axe is not only an axe. You would think it's an axe, but it is also like a magic key to unlock the energy something or whatever.
It's a keyblade. It turns out that Kong has found the way into Kingdom Hearts.
Holy shit! Yes, it is. And he puts it down. He puts the blade or the axe down, and then sits in the chair, and he's like, "This is probably what I'm supposed to do," because there's pictures here or something.
It lights up an ancient Godzilla skeleton.
That's right. Yeah, and then Ivanka's like, "Aha! Time for me to do my evil plan that I'm pretty sure we already explained we were gonna do, and if we weren't doing it, I don't know what anyone thought we were here for, but I'm gonna do it." And then she does it, and then everyone gets mad at her about it.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Can you explain what she does, Nando? Can you explain what happens?
She takes a little thing, like a little like a I don't know, machine, handheld, something about the size of a phone, like slams it into the ground where the blue is happening, and then it fills up with blue, and then it sends an email with decoded energy. It tells them what the energy is. And
but I thought it like gives them the energy. That's why I was like so
they
confused
had the energy,
by.
man.
Yeah.
I think she just told them what it was and they recreated it. It felt like more of like we need to learn the frequency, correct, like, sequence it. I don't think they sent it.
From 1,000 miles away, they did this.
I mean, my thing is much less dumb than the thing that you're proposing. They're both pretty dumb, but
All right, yeah.
I think it's my thing. But either way, she does that, takes a teeny tiny nothing from this, like, the thing for the shape keeps going, like things get disturbed, but how is she supposed to know? And whatever, we haven't talked about any of the characters. One of the characters is like, don't do that, and she's like, I'm gonna do it. And then she gets all the guys with guns to shoot at him, but they don't, but they almost do. And it's a weird moment for me because I'm like, yeah, what did she tell you? You guys were like, she told you what you were doing. It was an energy source. She's not using it to power anything bad, as far as you know. She's just taking a sample.
I don't know what their objection was in this scene.
It was like,
I think they had the script, and so they know.
Yeah.
Oh no, we don't want this to happen.
This movie was somehow underwritten and overwritten at the same time. Where it's like, there's too much bullshit going on, but at the same time, we're not going to explain any of the stuff that's happening, so we're getting the worst of both worlds. Which is
I would argue we're getting the best of both worlds, because it's stupid, but also it doesn't waste our time.
That's right. It's like, because we'll get to Millie Bobby Brown in a second.
Will we? I'm not convinced.
I think we have to save her for last, and pretty much her entire plot line for last, because it doesn't make any difference, but also there's no point in explaining it yet, besides the fact that the bad guys want some sort of glowy power, whatever. Yeah. But then Godzilla gets mad about this. Godzilla, who is now in Hong Kong, going to somewhere, which is important, kind of, with Elon Musk's house. And then Godzilla, like we're saying, digs a big hole in the earth by using radioactive breath. Mm-hmm. It's pretty sweet.
So yeah, what happens isn't even really her fault for taking a sample of the energy. It's because Kong turned the Kingdom Hearts on. Yep. Godzilla realized that he was there and sent atomic breath 1,000 miles into the earth to fry him alive.
Right. Also, I don't know exactly what this hollow earth energy is, but I feel like it seems to be pretty similar to whatever Godzilla's putting out, right? I assume
it's the same color.
Yeah, we charged the axe with Godzilla breath, so why are we not just... And the axe is what makes the hollow earth powered, it seems, so might as well just use that. I don't know. Yeah. They just really want to go to the hollow earth. And then the bats attack them, much like the ones from Kong Skull Island. They just start picking off goons.
You mean
funny.
The Hellhawks?
Whatever, yeah, the Hellhawks. What are they? Describe them to the listeners. They're pretty weird looking.
So they're kind of like gargoyle bat monsters. They have legs and arms, but also leathery wings. And they got kind of like bird-like faces with beaks.
Yeah, they're real ugly.
They're not great to look at.
I mean, they're bad. They eat you up if you try to, But also, here's the other thing that was confusing me a little bit. It kind of made sense. But Ivanka's dudes pulled the guns on the three main characters that are in the Hollow Earth with King Kong and all this stuff. And they're like, let us do the sample. They do the sample. The guys still have guns on them. Nothing really changes. And everybody just runs away. And then the guys with guns are cool again now. And they're like, quick, get into the thing. And I'm like, just leave these guys. You were going to shoot them before. I don't know. But that guy dies. It gets eaten by two of these things that fight over him, which is very fun. And then the movie realizes that we haven't really done anything with Alexander Skarsgård yet. So he almost sacrifices himself for a second to prove that he's cool. And then they get away.
But then Kong saves them because that's Kong's job in this movie.
That's true. Kong does keep them going. And then that means we only got one more thing to do because the movie is almost over, because this is Kong and Godzilla are about to fight, and that's the name of the movie. So when that happens, the movie ends.
Right. So Kong decides to jump in the hole that Godzilla made and fall 1,000 miles into Hong Kong, which takes like 20 seconds.
Yeah. It's a good hole. It's like a really fast hole. I don't know what to tell you.
Just from a fight perspective, Godzilla's the one who blows the hole into the Hollow Earth. Godzilla should be the one to jump down, right? Because if you're Kong, be like, sup.
No, Godzilla's a sniper. He's like, I'm going to shoot my atomic breath that's going to fry that dumb ape alive.
Well,
And
that's
then,
what I'm saying. Kong
I
goes
could just
to
keep
any
going.
other part of the Hollow Earth and, he'll be fine, right?
That's true. I mean,
But also, Kong's kind of an afterthought for Godzilla here. He's like, well, as long as that Kong's right directly beneath me somehow, I might as well fire one off. But I've got bigger fish to fry right now.
I'm not going crazy.
Godzilla's kind of in that moment. He's kind of like a coward, because he's like, well, I'm gonna like make a big noise, but I'm not gonna start a fight. But that should be enough to make him, he's not gonna come. He's not brave. He's not gonna come fight me. Because he would be severely outmatched because I'm a big giant gorilla, or I'm a big giant Godzilla, and he's just a King Kong. So I am clearly the overdog in this situation.
One could argue that Godzilla simply understands that, he has his priorities in order. Maybe he's a little miffed at this Kong fellow for continuing to get in his way. So he shoots one off, but, he's not going to let it, split his focus. He's got his eye on the prize.
I mean, he 100% isn't out of his priorities in order, because were he not to have done this right now, he'd probably be fine. He'd have solved his problem the way he wanted to, because they weren't ready for him until just that moment. And I have a feeling if he got the jump on whatever might happen at the end of the movie, would have been okay for him.
But how is he supposed to know that Kong isn't planning on going and messing up? He still doesn't know that this Kong fellow isn't working with whatever mysterious third party might be involved here.
I mean, Kong is clearly not where he's going, and he does the explosion and then just keeps going. So,
but Godzilla knows that it takes only 20 seconds to get to the from the Hollow Earth to Hong Kong. So
that's true.
He knows Kong could be here at a moment's notice.
That's his own fault then, I guess, really,
Why is that so hard for Godzilla, Diggins? What's going on?
Because I love him. Because I love Godzilla.
He's bad in this movie until the very end.
No way.
Yes,
he's the hero.
absolutely.
He's the secret hero. He was the hero the whole time, and it's a twist. And we just spoiled it for people, DJ. Are you happy?
No, we did. Okay.
The hero is the heroic, new character that's going to be invented for the ride. That's our POV guy. That's like the DJ from Star Tours. It's like, hey there, it's my first day at Godzilla Factory. Come here, we're going to go on a village to the Hollow Earth. Like, that guy is the hero of the whole thing. Hopefully it's a little mouse, I guess. I don't know what I thought it sounded like. Disney gets their tentacles and everything these days.
You know what it is? We're nearly 2 hours into this podcast, and I haven't nearly been able to shit talk Godzilla as much as I've wanted to, because he's a real dick in this movie. All right, so listen, we've been talking about this movie in terms of, Godzilla and Kong fight, and they do their thing, and blah, 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 blah. But what sets this movie into motion is Godzilla just ridiculously attacking this Apex company, for things that we're not quite aware of, immediately, but become aware of later. Can I say what the thing is?
They just make big robot eyes, that's all.
They do. They make huge robot eyes.
And they ship them all over the world through one big giant tube.
And Godzilla's like, no. Yeah. None of this. I do not allow this or condone. But so yeah, they're let's just say they're working on a weapon to combat Godzilla, right?
Yep.
Which isn't crazy. Like these Titans have been like really fucking up Earth's shit for a long time. It's not crazy that they would come up with some kind of defense system. And Godzilla's like, none of this. I'm going to fucking lay waste to, just these certain parts of the world, Pensacola, Florida, Hong Kong, whatever, because I'm a little butthurt that humanity wants to take me out and protect themselves. Like, come on, Godzilla, that's not a good look. Like, that's like childish behavior. And we just give Godzilla a pass on this? Like, for me, that's ridiculous. Honestly.
I would like to defend the honor of my boy.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, this weapon, which I will refrain from revealing the full nature of, but let's just say it is specifically being made in a way that they know will both alert Godzilla and piss him off.
Okay.
Godzilla does attack the facility to destroy this weapon, which is basically deliberately designed to make him angry. With heroic restraint. Like I said, 8 people die in a giant monster attack. That shows you that Godzilla was trying to minimize casualties.
Seems
There's
like
no
he just got
way
lucky.
even like a careless Godzilla kills more than 8 people. This is a Godzilla with surgical precision, going directly after the thing he wants and nothing else. And you know, I think we all realize by the end of the movie that the thing the humans wanted to do was actually a very bad idea that would have been really bad for everyone on the planet.
How is that bad?
DJ, did you watch the movie?
Okay, the principle isn't bad, and the only reason it goes awry is because, you know, they get involved. But
the specific thing it's the specific thing they're doing that makes Godzilla mad. It's not like his Godzilla senses went off and they're building a thing that is supposed to be make me hurt. Oh, how dare they? It's the specific thing they're doing, and because of the specific thing they're doing, it turns out to be very dangerous for everybody.
Well,
so they just have to rely on Godzilla. That's it.
Godzilla does kind of force their hand. I think they seem to have it kind of under control, but because they, maybe in the future, who knows, might have to use the Godzilla weapon to fight Godzilla earlier than they'd probably like, they throw it into, you know, they take the car, they test drive it onto the highway, and then they lose control. But
the only reason they have to fight Godzilla is because they are constantly smashing the Make Godzilla Angry button.
I mean,
no, I'm sorry, go ahead, Nando.
Well, I mean, we don't have to, you know, whatever this weapon is, it's a good idea to make. And it maybe has a problem, it has a flaw that shows up at the end of the movie, but seems like something that could have been dealt with if it were made by the skeeviest Elon Musk type. So what I don't understand here is if we, as a society, got together and decided we wanted to do this, would we just have to hide it from King Kong anyway? Or Godzilla, excuse me, and King Kong, I guess. But Godzilla's, we're just doing the thing. He doesn't know that's gonna happen. He doesn't know how satellites work and stuff. He just knows they shouldn't be doing it because of, I don't know, superstition, I guess. And he's like, this is bad.
I want to use an analogy, but the analogy would give away too much about what it is.
All right, well, let me try and also throw in another thing here. It's not just like humanity's smashing the Make Godzilla Mad button. Godzilla and Kong are having a street brawl in Hong Kong, which kind of forces, you know, humanity to say, all right, we need to use our anti-Godzilla mechanism now.
But the only reason Godzilla is in Hong Kong is because they keep pushing the Make Godzilla Mad button.
But Godzilla shot his atomic breath 1,000 miles into the hollow earth because Kong was there. So that's why I don't understand what Godzilla's priorities are. He's all over the fucking map. Is he mad at humanity for their bullshit? Or is he, want to just do a street fight with Kong? What is the deal?
He's got a big ego. He's like your typical villain in a movie, you know? His ego is exploited by the hero, and, that leads to his downfall. Whereas Kong has a noble purpose that he just wants to go home and go to his, Kong mommy and daddy or whatever, you know, family, uncle, I guess, because I'm pretty sure his mom and dad are dead. But, he wants to meet Kong family, and he just goes on a boat ride and has fun and talks to a nice little girl, and then has to defend all his friends from Godzilla. And then he's like, well, he doesn't go seek out Godzilla after this. He just goes in about his business because he's a nice, normal, well-adjusted ape. And then Godzilla bothers him again. Because Godzilla's, he's I don't know, he's kind of a weirdo. That's all I could say. But look, Kong's just trying to make his way out, downtown.
Look, Godzilla has been humanity's hero for years now. Godzilla has never done anything wrong to the people of Earth. Not once. Seriously? And they've just suddenly decided that because there's a possibility he might go bad, that they've got to smash the Make Godzilla Angry button over and over and over again. It's a real lack of trust in Godzilla, who has done nothing to earn our ire. He is a hero. He's a beautiful boy. And we all love
Boston, him. Diggins, he just leveled it.
Because his hand was forced by some humans who woke up King Ghidorah. He wouldn't level Boston because he hates Boston. He leveled Boston because King Ghidorah was hanging out there, and King Ghidorah needed to be stopped.
Beyond that, here's my other question: it doesn't seem like an unreasonable reaction to Godzilla King of Monsters for us to be like, we need a weapon that can fight everything but Godzilla. And it would probably be a weapon pretty similar to the one we make here. Like, we need Godzilla defenses very similar to Godzilla that might not be Godzilla. And hey, this is the one we came up with. And, maybe Godzilla almost loses all of its fights. So maybe hand if we had something similar to Godzilla, but maybe a little bit different. Something we could control, hypothetically.
But again, you guys are ignoring that the specific way they do it is like precision designed to make Godzilla angry.
I mean, that's on Godzilla. That's not on them,
Yeah, he's got like
it is on them because it's part of his biology, and they know that.
Oh, so we're blaming the victims of the Godzilla destruction now? It's their fault for bothering Godzilla, putting him in this position where he has to attack them? No. King Kong would never do this.
Because Godzilla knows that it's gonna be a problem. Because Godzilla is smarter than these people who think that they have it all under control.
He shouldn't, and they kind of do until they don't, because the movie decides they don't. But if Godzilla's a guy, everything Godzilla is doing, like if Godzilla is a character that's not a big giant, like, Godzilla, if he could talk and explain his motivations to people, he gets so lucky that shit goes wrong with the anti-Godzilla weapon, because if it works perfectly, he looks like such a chump, and it only goes wrong because of something he did.
He knows it's going to go wrong. And you can't even say that it would have worked otherwise, because the only reason it works at all is because of the thing that makes it go wrong. But when they try to use it before, it only works for like a minute tops, and then it's out because they don't have the right energy source. When they put the right energy source, the second they do that, it goes wrong.
We'll have to explain what this is. But anyway, Godzilla vs. Kong fight. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
So they fight. Yeah. Godzilla brings his nothing. King Kong brings his cool axe. How does that fight go?
Yeah. Well,
pretty good.
Godzilla, of course, is like, well, here's this punk again.
This punk that I just cannot stop bothering. This guy that I'm like chasing around town.
Who I have no reason to believe isn't working with the bad guy here. Just no reason at all. He showed up at the exact same time as the bad guy did. That's not a coincidence.
Maybe Godzilla showed up because of you and what you did with the bad guy. And also, maybe it deserves, maybe you could just check on all the times when it keeps giving up and not giving a shit about what you're doing. He has some other motives. But anyway, King Kong shows up with his big cool axe. And they fight. And that fight is pretty amazing.
Yeah, that fight's like really pretty sick.
I mean, have either of you guys been to Hong Kong?
Nope.
No.
They don't individually light buildings up different colors. Right? Like the whole building isn't one color, because they should. It's awesome. Every city should do it. It's so cool. Like, at one point, they're in a Ferris wheel. There's like all kinds of amusement park shit. So I'm like, okay, neon, whatever. But then it's like, now every city, like the entire city, every building, the whole skyline is some random color. And it's awesome. And we have
cool.
The weird planes are flying through the whole thing, like, whoa, and then they rattle, and then they go into, like, they take a left, and it's so great. It's such a cool it's gonna be such a cool ride. It's gonna be awesome.
The ride's gonna be sick.
It's gonna be the best. It's gonna be great. Like, it's worth all these stupid movies that I don't care for and all the boring parts. The ride is gonna be the ride should be an hour long, honestly. There's so many cool things I want to do. That's why I think make a whole theme park part of it, and they're just like 4 rides. But so Godzilla and Kong fight. Kong does pretty well.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I think he really holds his own.
Well, like I said, Godzilla just assumes this guy's some punk. And Kong's got some moves. No one's denying that Kong's got some moves. And so Godzilla underestimates him a little. And, Kong's able to take advantage of that. He's able to get some work in, to put some work in. And, he gets some good hits.
Yeah, he uses the axe to block and stuff. That's pretty clever. He's a clever guy. He's got his wits. instead of just a big guy where his skin is indestructible and he breathes fire and stuff. It's like, I don't know, like a classic Rocky and villain story, you know? He's the Rocky, and the other one is villain.
And you can tell which one of them is the intelligent one, because the intelligent one realizes what the real threat is way sooner than the unintelligent one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is Kong not supposed to think that the guy that keeps shooting radioactive breath at him and pretty much just try to kill him every time he thinks he's just lying on his ship, and then this thing comes and gets him? How's he not supposed to think that's the real threat? He doesn't have magic vision to tell him where the other stuff is. He's been in the Truman Show his whole life. He hasn't been smelling the planet.
That sounds like an argument for why Kong's less cool, but maybe that's just me. I don't know.
I mean, Kong is, again, at a huge disadvantage because Godzilla has been out and about in the world, and King Kong just kind of like came out of Skull Island yesterday. So how's it supposed to know?
Yes, Diggins, that is just you.
I mean, whatever. You're allowed to have an opinion. I mean, no one's saying you're not allowed to have an opinion. It's just, you know.
So King Kong does the coolest thing in the movie. Oh, sorry.
Nothing. No, please go on.
King Kong does the coolest thing in the movie and picks up a part of a building and uses it to block a shot. That is amazing. I was kind of hoping he was going to throw it like Captain America, but he doesn't.
How does that work? What's that shit made out of? Is it like very indestructible, Liam?
Yeah.
Hey, listen, buildings improbably maintaining their structure is a hallmark of these kinds of movies.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's people in these buildings still. It's like fucking Man of Steel. I mean, I don't know. Maybe if you're in a movie like this, you just don't care. But, like, in the first big fight, there's some point in a movie, it's got to be here or in the first time that Godzilla makes landfall, there is a whole bunch of business going on for a little bit, like, for some time. And then there are people in an office that get surprised by Godzilla. And it's like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, there's an alarm. I don't know. I don't remember exactly what happens here. But whatever it is, people of the world, some of them evacuate to Godzilla's shelters, but not all, because these buildings are just destroyed. And it's pretty cool. Some of them seem like they're just destroying them for fun. The axe is being thrown about. And then Godzilla and Kong have their bit where, like, Kong uses the axe to blow up Godzilla, but it doesn't work because Godzilla is indestructible. And then the movie ends. I don't think they had more, but
nothing more to talk
about. Really? Oh,
yeah.
is that where it ends, Nando? I feel like there's a second part here. This is actually another part. What happens?
Should be where the movie.
Well, you have the Snyder Cut
afterwards.
version that's like the extra stuff that only the diehard lunatics like. But I'm talking about the real movie that ends when they just crash an explosion. You know,
done here.
Yeah, and it's like,
really?
Everybody
I remember
won.
some pretty cool stuff happening after this. Actually, I remember some really cool stuff happening.
I don't think anything cool happened. If you asked me, it was probably boring because it lost my attention. I was probably on my phone, honestly, just like looking up.
I think I remember some of the
King
coolest
Kong,
things in the
cool
movies happening right around this part. Some of the coolest stuff.
Oh, really?
Was it more Billy Bobby Brown stuff? That sounds cool. That's about as cool as this movie gets.
No, I think I remember there was a little bit more with King Kong and Godzilla. I think there just need a little bit more. Just a little bit more of that fight scene.
Oh, really? What happened? Explain this to me. I don't remember it at all because the movie's, kind of unmemorable, I guess. I don't know. What happens from this point on?
Right, yeah, from this point on, well, what I recall is, so like I said, Kong gets some good hits in. He does this big axe move, there's a big explosion, Godzilla gets knocked down, and, you know, we cut, I think we cut to some human stuff for a little bit after this, but then we cut back to the important stuff. And we get to Godzilla. Godzilla kind of, gets up, he dusts himself off, and he realizes, like, wow, okay, I underestimated this punk. You know what? That's on me. That's my bad. I'll take that L. But, you know what? I'm sick of looking at this guy. And, I think it's about time I took the limiters off. Because it turns out this whole time, Godzilla's been holding back. This whole time, Godzilla's just been like, I'm gonna go easy on this kid. He's new.
He's that good of a guy.
Because he's that good of a guy. He doesn't really want to hurt Kong. He just wants to put Kong in his place a little bit. And Kong thinks he's this is the hot new shit. And Godzilla's like, all right, calm down, kid. I've been here a while. I know the score. But now Kong's made it personal. Kong's used his great grandma's dorsal fin to blow him up. And that's just an insult at that point. So Godzilla's like, all right, I'm done with this. And just goes full Godzilla on Kong. Just down on all fours, charging at him, going wild, clawing up his chest, biting him. Just full savage beast. And he just destroys Kong. Kong doesn't even get a hit in edgewise. It is not even a fight. It is brutal. Just utterly destroyed. And Kong's left just wheezing on the ground as Godzilla just like spits on the floor and is like, that's why you put some respect on my name. And then he walks to take care of the real problem.
Humanity.
This doesn't seem like it happened in the movie, though. I think Diggins imagined this part.
No, I don't think I did. I don't think I did, though.
Because then the movie, there's some stuff that happens with the thing that we'll talk about in a second. But then I feel like I remember this because it's a big fat ugly lizard running around at speeds that's not 1 mile an hour. So that seems like it'd be pretty cool, right? Because this is a slow, boring lizard instead of cool, awesome ape flying around doing cool stuff.
It was a super cool scene. I'm surprised you don't remember it, considering how cool it was.
I don't remember it. I mean, I guess it comes down to like, are you, do you root for the Yankees? Do you root for Apollo Creed? Or do you root for, an underdog who has an interesting story and is a cool guy and everyone likes, I think that's really the difference here.
That's why I root for Godzilla, yeah.
Well, excuse me. Godzilla is definitely the Yankees of this situation. And Godzilla is definitely the Apollo Creed. The Apollo Creed starts the fights. Rocky's just enjoying his home, his ancestral home with his Paulie's axe and having a good time. And then Apollo
Creed. Axe made from the robot?
Yeah, Apollo Creed. From that robot, yeah. And Apollo Creed, or let's say Ivan Drago. It's a better analogy. Ivan Drago shows up and he was like, let's fight. And you're like, ugh, this thing has no personality. I like the cool one better. That's a big giant ape and sounds like an ape in real life. And he's a shark now in the Suicide Squads. And then they fight and the big strong one's really strong, but the cool clever one gets some hits in. It's a moral victory. And you figure if he didn't get drowned so many times that day, he'd probably been able to win the fight,
Oh, but Godzilla was also going through those fights, Godzilla's also, taking some hits.
But Godzilla's
but he's still able to go beast mode.
Godzilla's indestructible skin and stuff. He gives him a huge advantage. Because all the depth charges, we never see Godzilla reeling from any injuries. Whereas Kong keeps having to recover, and then the humans are like, no, go do this. Go hang out in Antarctica where it's cold. And Godzilla, he doesn't have to deal with any of that bullshit.
Yeah, and it turns out if the humans had just trusted Godzilla from the start, then Kong wouldn't have had to take any of that damage. Wouldn't have had to go through any of that. So really, it's kind of on the humans that Kong got so hurt. And, if he just trusted in Godzilla, everything would have been fine for Kong.
Godzilla's the reason for so much agony. It doesn't make any sense. Why would you trust your abuser?
He's not our abuser. He's our protector.
I'm never going to come to bat for the humans. But
yeah, Team Human. I'm Team Human, excuse me.
But the humans have every right to be worried about Kong. He's helped them twice, maybe?
They have every right to be worried about Kong.
Kong is a hero. Kong has only been
cool.
Godzilla doesn't have any friends. Kong has a friend and he talks to them because he's smart and sweet.
Can I interest you in a little person named Mothra?
Yeah, Mothra I'm talking about human friends, part of our human world. Kong has a human friend.
What about that brave human soldier that Godzilla basically gave a thumbs up to in that first movie?
What happened to those guys?
I don't know. They're off somewhere.
They're busy.
Being happy. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. They're probably just can't believe that they are not. I mean, Aaron Taylor Johnson used to get followed around by Godzilla, so at least now he doesn't have to deal with that. And then, yeah, I guess most of the rest of them die. Although, we do never check in with Bradley Whitford and friends.
Can you believe after everything that Kyle Chandler and Godzilla went through, that Kyle Chandler just instantly doesn't trust Godzilla? Talk about a betrayal.
I mean, Godzilla still killed his first son that one time.
That still happened.
Hard to get over.
Did Godzilla kill him or did the Mutos kill him and Godzilla was just doing the best he could?
I'm sure Godzilla could have tried a little harder not to kill Kyle Chandler's wonderful son. Kong wouldn't have. Kong would have done his best to save everyone, because that's what Kong does. You know, it saves people.
Does he?
Yeah, Godzilla's a monster fighting.
I seem to remember in their first movies, Kong does a lot more deliberate murder than Godzilla ever does.
Well, that's the army, so it's fine. But also, he saves a woman, catches her in his hand. The classic great move. And Godzilla does that sometimes, but it seems to usually be by accident or like a coincidence. He's like, oh, I'm in front of a thing that's going to hurt you. But it's like just kind of to show that the people that shot the thing were bad. But Godzilla doesn't know he's helping. Godzilla just wants to fight. He just wants to fight. He's a jerk. He's that guy that's at the bar bumping into everybody. And Kong's just there to have a good time. Godzilla is just waiting for someone to piss him off, make the wrong apex sound or whatever. And then he's gonna go off.
Yeah,
he's on a
The
hair
last time an alpha showed up, he wanted to destroy all life on the planet. Why should Godzilla take that risk again? Kong's not out here like being like, "Yo, man, it's cool. You're the king. Whatever. I don't want any trouble." Kong's out here beating his chest like, "Yeah, I'll fight you. What of it?"
All I'm saying is, if we get another shot at this with preparation, Kong would absolutely destroy Godzilla because
Absolutely
Kong
not.
speak English to the people.
The movie was very definitive. The movie was very definitive that Kong had no chance.
Yeah, I hate to side with Diggins here, but I mean, Godzilla basically stopped Kong's heart. I'm not arguing that Kong could beat Godzilla. I'm arguing that Godzilla is a better person. I'm arguing that Kong is a better person than Godzilla.
Well, that too, but also Kong. Kong's best. We have seen Godzilla at 100% fighting King Kong. We have not seen King Kong at 100% fighting Godzilla. King Kong at 100%. He has the full support of the army. He has all of the other things that the humans, speaking to the humans, could get him. He should have a gun. Okay, that's all I'm saying. King Kong should be holding a big gun and maybe a jetpack, and he should be flying around shooting Godzilla. Because what's stopping him?
King Kong at 100%. That feels like King Kong at like 500%, which is hardly fair.
It's King Kong at his best. Like part of his kit is that he can talk to people. He can communicate in English or whatever language, I guess, sign language, I guess. But like he can communicate with the people. Yeah. And Godzilla can never do that. So they could make Godzilla a gun, but Godzilla wouldn't know what to do with it. He'd probably just kick it.
But he'd figure it out.
I don't know. He relies a lot on his...
Godzilla's the only person in this movie who knows who the real villain is from moment one.
Well, but humanity? You're saying we're evil?
No!
Elon Musk is evil, but also King Kong has never been in a city before. He doesn't know what any of this shit is. You give him a day or two to acclimate. I'm sure he'll be fine. I'm sure he'll do very well. But, like, I can't even imagine seeing all those buildings and not being a little starstruck and like, whoa, what's going on? Why is that one blue and that one's red? And then Godzilla has a lot of extra shots to give King Kong, the what for. But with preparation, with the help of all of his friends, King Kong would absolutely fucking destroy Godzilla,
Absolutely not.
That's all I know.
Not. I can't believe what I'm hearing right now. Godzilla bodied Kong when he was actually giving it his all.
Yeah, no, he crushed him. He crushed him.
But
he's
that's
just
the thing.
evil.
Kong has limitless potential. He should be able to like work with people and coordinate, and it should be awesome.
I think it's that in this analogy, I think Godzilla is Superman and Kong is Goku, right? Like Kong is great, but he can't overcome the greatness of Godzilla. I think that's what's going on here.
I think that would be fair if there was not a third party that could have killed Godzilla if they had all their shit together.
Can we talk about the third party?
And if that third party could not also speak the same language as Kong and not Godzilla, and Kong couldn't just be like, hey, make me one of those next time, huh? I just want that, but in a big, like, jumpsuit or like a backpack.
But there's no reason to have one of those next time.
I mean, if you want to just have a cool fight, then like if Godzilla, maybe Godzilla does go crazy this time.
Look,
what's stopping
ahead
him?
Of ourselves here.
He's a lunatic.
We're ahead of ourselves.
Are we?
Anyway, yeah, King Kong loses this time. He loses the fight, and Godzilla's like
definitively in a way that suggests that there's no way he would ever win. Yeah,
he would win if maybe he had like if he was used to it. And look at he's still growing. Maybe. We don't know how big King Kong's going to get. Maybe he's going to pick up the moon.
There's some gray in his weird gorilla beard. I think he's done growing.
I did not like his big gorilla beard. It looked kind of sad. Also, King Kong likes the people, whereas Godzilla just seems to tolerate them. So I do think King Kong... I don't think King Kong was necessarily looking out for destruction, but King Kong had a friend, and that makes him better.
King Kong who ripped a building off. And yeah, I don't think he really cared that much about destruction.
It's pretty sweet. But yeah, so King Kong dies, pretty much. And then Godzilla goes to Elon Musk's house. Now, we've been beating around the bush a lot.
Yeah.
But what is Elon Musk up to? DJ, since you haven't been in the middle of this, can you explain that plot?
Yeah, so, okay. For the whole thing?
I don't know, just like whatever is important.
All right, so the reason that... so Elon Musk, this company Apex, is working on a weapon to defend humanity, and that weapon is RoboGodzilla. I'm sorry, Mecha Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Well, that's what they do in the movie.
That is what they do in the movie.
I loved that. I genuinely loved that. It was like intro, 5 seconds later, the word Mecha Godzilla.
It was, oh my god, they built a RoboGodzilla. No, a Mecha Godzilla. I'd be, the fuck's the difference, kid? Are you fucking serious right now?
DJ, a robot is an autonomous being, and a mecha is a piloted vehicle.
Yeah, but he doesn't know that yet.
Yeah, but he says the words Mecha Godzilla, and I think that's cool.
That was cool. He did come up with it. And the bad guy also said Mecha Godzilla, but he was right. Because he made it, so he would know if it's piloted or not. But yeah. Oh yeah, we haven't really explained. Millie Bobby Brown is like a Godzilla truther also and stuff, and she knows something's up, and she listens to the podcast, and she hangs out with the kid from Deadpool 2, and he doesn't want to do the Godzilla-ing.
I don't even know how to explain this B-plot, or C-plot, I should say, that doesn't need to be in the movie. I think that's what frustrated me the most about this, is that it didn't need to be there because it adds nothing. You can just cut to the Apex facilities talking about what they're doing and not have these people involved. Because they do something at the end barely. You could totally cut that out of the movie. It's so cuttable. So I think that's what like killed me the most, is that like how unnecessary this is. Because, I mean, what's there to say? They go through, they make the discovery, they kind of mess things up a little bit, but ultimately they do nothing. Even when Stranger Kids calls her dad, Kyle Chandler, to be like, Dad, I'm in Hong Kong, blah, blah, blah. It literally needs to nothing. Monarch sits out this whole movie. It's so dumb.
Yeah, Monarch might as well not exist. It's so funny because we keep building up to Monarch, and it's like, nah.
They suck. They're useless. They don't
Everybody
do anything.
That works with them is either ex-Monarch or, like, kind of attached to Monarch, but more just would work as a friend of King Kong's as well. And speaking of characters that we don't see again, what the fuck happened to Charles Dance?
I don't know. I guess he just cut his losses and sold.
Didn't want to be in it. Yeah.
I signed for one movie, fuckers.
Well, okay. So was his character involved in this?
I doubt it. Except,
why?
Oh no, because the teaser.
I think he just sold all his terrorist stuff. He was like, I'm done.
When you
buy
just
all my terrorist
terrorism,
stuff, please.
Well, he bought it at the end of the last movie, so he bought it and then was like, you know what? Maybe we just buy it. Maybe he's trying to flip it like an NFT or something. It's just like, I'm going to get in on the bottom of the Godzilla market.
He cleaned it up a little and then flipped it, But it was kind of a fixer-upper when he found it.
So he found came into possession of one of King Ghidorah's heads, right?
Yes.
That was like what we see in the end of the last movie. But it's not a skull. It's just like the whole thing, skin and everything. Mm-hmm. Did you guys think that was the same thing we're working with here?
It must be, right?
Well, why wouldn't
I thought so.
I guess, yeah, it would have to be, right? Because the other skeleton pieces would just be vaporized. That's weird.
So anyway, Apex. So we learned that the way Ghidorah apparently had to communicate because the necks were so long, it was telepathy.
Yep.
Which
was also psychic.
Is real and used by the monsters.
Does that mean that like Godzilla's like? What the fuck does that mean?
I know. The implications for there being telepathy is insane.
It's such a weird...
It is accurate that a being as large as King Ghidorah, it would take too long to send nerve impulses from its brains to the rest of its body. But that's true of all the other giant
Yeah,
monsters, so why does it
and,
matter
like,
for him?
so-
The thing with the heads was that they had to yell at each other. Like, they were not on the same page in that movie. They were, like, arguing with words or whatever, screeches or something. So it's a weird little caveat that's thrown in there, which made me think in the movie, I'm like, oh, is there, like, another something else somewhere? Like, is there another head that Charles Dance has? That he's got in a machine or something that's going to take over the telepathy. But no, it's like, it's just that the telepathy means that the brains can communicate in a way that can be manipulated by us into robots or something.
Yup.
Like, if you put a bunch of lines, a bunch of wires in a big black room with a skeleton or a skull, then the wires will make it do the thing. It's pretty cool. But then, okay, so I'm just so confused.
Me too.
Why is what this company is doing secret?
Well, because they're using the giant monster that tried to destroy the Earth to do it.
Well, yeah, but like they're just using a skull. Like as far as anyone would know, you'd be like, well, I guess it's not.
I don't
still
know.
In there.
So this is the analogy I was going to make before. If you told me we're making RoboCop, I'd be like, I don't know about that, but okay. If you told me we're making RoboCop, and to make the RoboCop work, we're putting in the brain of the world's most notorious criminal, I'd be like, well, hold on.
Right?
That seems like a bad idea.
Yeah. So like, what in Mechagodzilla?
Fucking robot parts.
Missiles.
I don't know, man.
Is the brain in there?
No, the brain, I think, is in the skull.
There's nothing in the skull, right?
Or there's definitely a brain involved. They're definitely actually using Ghidorah's brain.
So then I think the brain has to be in Mechagodzilla then.
I guess.
So then it
And
is
they
kind of
just
like that.
Incorporated the skull into the cockpit just because it's cool.
Yeah, because it's fun. Well, and then it's kind of like, it feels a lot like, fucking, what is it? Transformers 4, when they're like, we're just gonna build these Transformium robots. What are we making it out of? Megatron's corpse. It's fine. And then, I don't know why I said Megatron's corpse. And then
'Cause you were
it
thinking of
turns into
Mechagodzilla.
Megatron, and it's like, Megatron now. And everyone's like, get the fuck out. No way. But my problem here, not problem, but like, it seems like what I don't understand is I don't understand what part of the system we need the brain for.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like they need it for the remote control aspect because Ghidorah's brain is telepathic, and so that lets them like control something so large and unwieldy quickly and efficiently.
I think that makes sense. But it's not, is it telepathically communicating with like the feet?
Oh, dude, man, like
Right, because the largeness shouldn't make a huge difference there. You could just sync stuff up, right, to like a person with a joystick.
Well, the problem is that by the time the signal gets to the feet, it's well after you actually wanted it to move.
Well, but from where?
I don't know. I guess it depends how you design the robot.
Yeah, well, I guess, like, because there's also, like, it's not just that the guy has to sit in Godzilla's skull, or Ghidorah's skull to make Mechagodzilla work. He has to, like, can anybody want to describe what a character that I still can't believe is what's-his-name's son is doing throughout this whole movie? How is it his son?
Oh, so yeah, he put on like a fun little helmet, and he's kind of like Pacific Rimming, like controlling the Mechagodzilla like it were a fucking Jaeger.
Yeah,
Which,
in a sexier way, I would say. In like a more like, oh, he's getting off on this. I don't like watching it. I don't feel comfortable.
The eyes kind of
You're
roll
watching
back.
him
It's
Yeah.
like, oh,
this
yeah.
is
I didn't
sexual
like-
for him.
It is. He's like, and I get it. Seems cool. It's not my thing, but I'm sure there's no fucking way there isn't a humongous set of pornography that's just what if I was Godzilla. But it does feel like the way that it's done, it's like the technology, like the Mechagodzilla is just a robot that is getting signals from a guy. And the signals...
Telepathically.
What's up?
Telepathically.
Right. But like, what if it's just 5G? What's the telepathically have to do with any of it? Like, what? I still don't get it. And it's only confusing because it's so weird and then it malfunctions, and I also don't completely understand what malfunctioning means. But also, that, I guess, is kind of where it just goes, that does what it does. But okay, so the kids, what are the kids up to? Do we describe that one scene that I really like with the kids where they're
I probably didn't, because I honestly wanted to talk about this as little as possible, so probably not.
It's awesome. So they go out, they go through the Hyperloop, and they come out in Hong Kong, and they get out, and then they walk around, because there's no one there, and they end up in a big giant coliseum with the skull crawlers. They found the skull crawlers. I don't know how these guys got them, and everyone else let them, but sure. And then it's like, this is what is this? And Brian Terry Henry's like, it's a sacrifice layer, and then it turns out it is, which is wild. And it's just funny because it's like they're in the sacrifice layer, and the clearly what is eventually going to be Mechagodzilla, but like kind of starts getting up, and then it's like, release door number 10, and then they look, and then they're right in front of door number 10. It's pretty good. That's the part of it that's going to be the ride. We're going to like buzz around on the floor a little bit, and then the skull crawler's going to come out, and yeah, we're going to dance around Godzilla's feet.
Oh,
it's going to be pretty cool.
That's crazy. They had skull crawler eggs, right? And they were called skull crawlers, so John C. Reilly's name, became the official name.
It stuck. And she knows what they are, which seems weird.
Right?
I guess she's a truther.
Probably... Well, her parents work for Monarch, and they probably got entered into the Monarch files after the 4 people who lived through that movie got back.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, good for him for calling that one, right?
That's
cool.
Well, they probably call them skull crawlers because that's what they heard him use, and the people he talked to are the ones who named it.
I mean, they could have figured out a different name, right? Like, they didn't have to go with his suggestion. Like, I don't know. I think it was cool.
I wish we checked in on him, just like
right.
a 120-year-old John C. Reilly just cheering on King Kong during the fight.
John C. Reilly wearing Michael Douglas's J. Edgar Hoover
makeup. Oh my God, yes. All of them, everybody. Brie Larson, Tom Hiddleston, fucking put one of them in this damn movie, and then not even the kid wasn't even the kid. Like, he was Sarah's kid, but I kept waiting for him to do something, be like a secret agent for Monarch. But he was just a jerk. An evil Jaeger pilot guy who dressed really cool and like had a cool haircut, but otherwise villain. That was kind of weird.
Yeah, weird choice.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I think my favorite bit was when the kids and Brian Terry Henry. This is where I kind of was like, oh, I think I see what we're doing here. Not like that, but where I completely bought in. They climbed up a ladder or some shit and came up into the next floor that was like a working lab, and they just all came up and then started doing stuff, and then people were like, hey, get them. They were just sneaking around this place so much, and nobody cared.
Full Solid Snake just completely infiltrated the facility.
It was awesome. But, yeah, it's oversight. I get that. So then we meet, what's his name again? What's the name of the guy that's in charge of Ivanka's dad?
Walter Simmons.
Walter Simmons. And what does he say? He says a bunch of stuff.
He gives like an evil villain speech, revealing that this whole idea was an evil villain plan, like Godzilla knew from the start.
He's so evil.
Uh-huh. And as that's happening, what's happening?
Well, they've taken the energy that his daughter emailed to them.
Yep.
And they uploaded it to Mechagodzilla because they haven't been able to power him for more than like a minute at a time so far. But this energy is the key. But it turns out when they put that energy in, it wakes up Ghidorah's brain. And it fries Serizawa's son, so he dies just completely like a chump without doing anything.
Yep.
And so you're arguing Diggins. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And so Ghidorah takes over Mechagodzilla, and now instead of being piloted by a human, it's just like a rebirth of Ghidorah.
And it like turns its head to look at this guy as if it knows who he is, and then eats him. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's good.
It's going to be really cool in the ride. Like that bit where like you see it behind. It's going to be really cool.
I appreciate that he does it in the middle of the guy's speech. Like the movie, they don't give a shit.
Exactly. Even though Brian Tyree Henry was like, I was enjoying the speech. What were you going to say, DJ? Something about...
I was going to say, Diggins, you maintained that this is all humanity's fault for, no matter what, they were going to make a Mechagodzilla, and it was going to just kind of make everything go awry.
I'm saying they made a Mechagodzilla using the brain of the evil alien kaiju that wanted to kill everything on Earth. That's the part that's dumb and why Godzilla was mad about it.
I get what you're saying. Just like, fucking... I don't know.
I mean,
I don't think that was cause for Godzilla to start, because he starts, wrecking, just everything at the beginning of the movie, right? And that's why Kyle Chandler's one line, Godzilla's hurting innocent people. We have no idea why. And it's like, I don't know. It just seems like Godzilla's response was
Godzilla
way
hurt
over
8
the top.
people, which again is like surgical levels of precision for a giant
he's
monster.
pretty good.
And
it's really 6 civilians, because 2 guys were just... I mean, maybe they didn't report those guys. Maybe...
2 guys were about to bust our hero, Brian Tyree Henry, so really that was a good guy move to kill those guys.
Well, do you think the whole facility, right? Because we learned that facility has, 2 real levels made of regular, boring building, and then, 30 levels from the future underneath. Do you think Godzilla destroyed a lot of the underneath levels and killed thousands and thousands of people? And then they asked Elon Musk, how many people did it kill? And they were like, 8. Just 8. They got our 8 guys.
Did he exclusively employ orphans with no significant others or friends who no one would ever report missing?
Probably. That's how Elon does it, That's his main skill. It's that and Dogecoin. That's what he cares about. Orphans, Dogecoin. So
what
Mechagodzilla...
if we used Ghidorah's brain to power NFTs?
Oh my god.
What if that's what the plot was the whole time? He was mining Bitcoin with Ghidorah's brain.
That'd be pretty funny, because then Ghidorah's brain would shut off and all the NFTs would... People would be like, I bought Ghidorah's left... No, then they'd, nope, it's gone now, sorry. I didn't buy anything. It's evil now. Your NFT is evil.
Well, it was evil to start with.
That's fair, yeah. That would make more sense, honestly, if Godzilla just went and destroyed all the NFTs because they were destroying the planet. That's the Godzilla I can get behind, an environmental crusader Godzilla.
I mean, that would be, absolutely.
That'd be
absolutely.
sick. But okay, so then let's talk about Mechagodzilla. What's its deal? What does it look like? It looks cool. It looks like Godzilla.
It does look cool.
I actually kind of don't love this Mechagodzilla design.
Oh, why
Something
not?
about the arms. It's a little too clunky.
Isn't that the point?
As opposed to what?
Yeah,
Well,
right.
the more classic Mechagodzilla designs, they're a little sleeker. I mean, they're still very robotic.
Oh,
Right,
I see what you mean.
Right. It's just, I don't know. I think it's something about the arms. Something about the arms I don't love.
Yeah, I mean, Godzilla has little baby arms, and it has giant, God, who is this like? I'm trying to think of a character that there's I don't know how I would describe them. So they're not like cyborg, but they're kind of like that. Just like they're like little wings. Like they really go out and give Godzilla a lot of leverage.
Yeah.
Or Mechagodzilla.
I don't know.
And he's red for
hate
color. That's important, so you know that he's bad. That's helpful. He
shoots a red beam.
Yep.
And he almost kills Godzilla, like how Godzilla killed the Muto in the first movie. Some real poetic justice Mechagodzilla has.
Well, Mechagodzilla has all kinds of shit too, because it has like jetpacks and shit. So it can walk, you would assume, but it could also just like do a big extra jump. It's like it really feels like a video game kind of character.
Yeah.
It could do like a ultimate punch move, haymaker thing, powered by blue instead of red for some reason. And and it can do extra good breath. It feels weird that they made Mechagodzilla like this. Why bother with Godzilla? Why not make Mechaghidorah? It's made of Ghidorah.
I think they probably wanted to have like a more different fight. And that would have just been like a redux of Godzilla versus Ghidorah, which is fair, but I also agree. I think it would have been cooler to bring back Mecha King Ghidorah instead of Mecha Godzilla for this.
Yeah, especially if the whole point is we need something to kill Godzilla. It's like, well, we need something that people can trust. What should we use? Probably start with the Godzilla and work backwards from there. Like, but what if it was red instead of blue? And this one also has like, what was I going to say? I guess just like, it has all these extra punches and stuff. Does it ever do, because I didn't think about this till afterwards, does it do the drop kick?
I don't think so.
It
Yeah,
should. They
either.
totally could have used like rockets on its back to make it fly feet forward into Godzilla.
They should have.
I
just
agree.
as
I don't think they awkwardly
do.
as Godzilla does in that moment. But then it kills Godzilla because Godzilla sucks. But
Hold on, that's not exactly what I recall happening.
I mean, it bodies Godzilla because Godzilla sucks. But then,
then
a hero appears. A hero.
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
How does that hero appear? Because I want to talk about this.
It's pretty awesome. I mean, let's talk about it.
So yeah, Kong is destroyed, humiliated, a shell of his former self.
Right, it's been a big day. He had a bunch of fights.
Various adjectives. Mostly with Godzilla.
In and out of the Hollow Earth at 1,000,000 miles per hour. No big deal, right?
Yeah, I mean,
went through a wormhole.
I'm just saying. Godzilla literally swam the entire distance from Antarctica to Hong Kong, which you think would take something out of it. I mean, you were just saying earlier that running a marathon and then doing a boxing match would be pretty tough, and Godzilla basically did that. But I mean, I guess it still doesn't matter really. Anyway, so yeah, after his crushing defeat, his humiliating destruction at the hands of Godzilla, Kong is weak. His heartbeat is slowing down. His human friends are all worried about him. And then they decide, what if we hit him with a big lightning bolt? That would fix the problem. Now, I have to imagine that this is a reference to the 1962 King Kong versus Godzilla. Because in that movie, because again, they needed to come up with some reason why King Kong would be able to fight Godzilla when he so obviously is no match for a being as cool and powerful and strong as Godzilla. In that movie, they gave him electricity powers. So he eats electricity and it makes him strong. So in that movie's final fight, when he's getting utterly destroyed by Godzilla, because again, Godzilla is so much stronger and cooler, it's a sudden storm comes by and King Kong gets struck by lightning, and that gives him superpowers. And then they fight on more equal terms.
Damn.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's definitely part of that, and part of it being just like, what's the dumbest way? What's the only way that people think that something can be brought back to life? You hit it with the electricities, and then it gets back to life. Like
that's how we do it, right?
That's just how you do it.
Fucking yeah.
Clear.
So they overclock one of the heaves. So it blows up above King Kong and shoots him full of electricity.
It was quite ridiculous.
It's going to be so cool in the ride because it's going to be a big explosion. The thing is going to go up, and then King Kong's probably going to catch the ship and put it down because thank you, and then go do the fight. But we're going to be watching all that stuff from far away. Our main pilot guy is going to be like, hold on, I got to make a maneuver. And then, it's going to be really fun. And then, who saves Godzilla in this moment?
Well, yeah, after causing Godzilla to be distracted in the first place, that allowed Ghidorah the crucial moments to power up, and therefore kind of causing the problem in the first place, if you think about it. King Kong cleans up after his own mess by going and saving Godzilla.
I mean, to be fair, technically, the humans have saved Godzilla for one whole half of a second. But yes, then mostly King Kong does cool shit and rips King Ghidorah to pieces with the axe that he brought. I guess his family made.
First, they do have a cool tag team fight where they're both fighting.
That is true.
That was cool.
That was fun.
Very much enjoyed that.
But then Godzilla gets beat up, and then he helps. He understands. He's like, in this moment, King Kong is the best one, so I should give all of my nuclear energy to King Kong's axe so that he can be sweet. And then he does.
That was like an Iron Man Captain America thing, or
yeah,
Iron Man Thor thing.
Yeah.
Thor shoots Iron Man with all his electricity.
He's like, oh no, I know without the handicap of the axe, King Kong stood no chance against me. There's no way he stands a chance against him. However, because of that axe, I have the ability to grant him some of my awesome unlimited power, which should give him a fighting chance.
Yeah,
he
exactly.
Does that out of the graciousness of his heart, because Godzilla is such a hero.
So we've proven that if King Kong had access to all the bullshit blue magic that Godzilla has access to, he would rip Godzilla to pieces. However, Godzilla
if King Kong was as cool and strong as Godzilla, then yeah, it would be an even fight. But he's not. That's
I mean, if he's like, Godzilla is like a guy who came into money. He was born with his blue bullshit. whereas King Kong really worked his way up there. And, you know,
he worked his way up to being a giant gorilla.
Yeah.
You know, he really earned that.
He did. He had to get, you know, he got there on his own strength. And then if it's like, oh man, and imagine if he had this money, he would be unstoppable. So that's what Godzilla is. He's a self-made monkey, or that's what King Kong is. He's a self-made monkey, whereas Godzilla is like a rich kid who
I really have to question your logic on this one.
he grew up on third base thinking he hit a triple or something. That's just Godzilla for you. What I'm saying is,
anyway,
Godzilla is
with the power of Godzilla at his hands, allowing him to overcome his natural deficiencies, Kong does like chop off all of Mechagodzilla's limbs and then rip his head off, which is sick as hell.
And rips it out, and then there's like a little throat too. Like you figure the head of Mechagodzilla, it's just attached to the rest of it, but it seems to also have like a spinal column.
Yeah.
It feels like you would have to have made this out of a whole Godzilla, or it would be insane that you made it the way that you did. But they really did just make exactly what they thought Godzilla was.
Of the second Mechagodzilla from the Heisei era, is in fact that you built a robot on top of the bones of the first Godzilla.
And that's honestly what I thought we would get here. Just because of, like, why the fuck would they end up with a Mechagodzilla? Unless they had to start with a Godzilla or some Godzilla-like creature. Because
Godzilla is the perfect fighter, so
apparently,
it makes sense that they
almost. Unless you have King Kong, then things get a little dicey. If King Kong had some of Godzilla's natural advantages, then, you know, it would be over. So
again, I agree that if King Kong was as strong and cool as Godzilla, then it would be a much tougher fight. But he's not. He's
just missing that one superpower that Godzilla has that none of the other animals have. Even if King Kong could just breathe lightning like Ghidorah could, he'd be sick.
I was going to say, Ghidorah has this lightning breath. Some of the other ones have
Mothra had healing powers. Yeah, they all have like their energy from Pokemon.
Mothra usually also has like cocoon silk shooting stuff that she can use.
Yeah, she did that in the movie, in the one with, I want to say she like webbed somebody up to a building at one point, right? That movie, very forgettable.
Remember.
But this movie, cool. And then it ends, and there's no post-credit scene because the movie is good.
I know. How?
What would it possibly be? Charles Dance being like, this is my time to shine.
That's the question. Like, are they done? Like,
DJ, when you've made a bad movie, you have to do a post-credit scene to convince people that a cool thing will happen in the next one so that you'll watch it. If you've made a good movie, then you can just end it and people will be like, oh man, that movie was good. I'd watch another one.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I can't even imagine what the next one will be. I think it has to be Alien Invasion, but...
God, I hope so.
Yeah, right? Because that's like, there's no more... We got the whole Hollow Earth thing. We can't have them fight smaller, like, bats again. And I don't think we can make another Mechagodzilla just because of how hard it was. So, we know King Ghidorah is an alien, so just some other alien has to show up and try to invade, and then Godzilla and Kong. And see, did you guys think that when Millie Bobby Brown and company found the Godzilla control room, one of them was going to control the Godzilla? That's right. Like, I feel like we get a person in the Mechagodzilla pilot thingy and then use that as part of a fight.
I don't even remember what they did.
Nothing. They just went to the next room because they're part of the ride. How? But seriously, fucking seriously, because but seriously, we talked about this in one of the podcasts. I've listened to our, this must have been in our Godzilla podcast. We were talking about this. We legitimately had a chance in this movie for Sarazawa's kid to put on the fucking headset and say, "Let me fight." Mm-hmm. Like that line was just sitting there. And he wasn't even Sarazawa's kid, really, because he didn't do anything Sarazawa. So I'm like, well, that's gotta be why. And they didn't do it! 0 out of 10.
Opportunity. Missed.
0 out of points. I hated it, actually.
I'm disgusted.
Yeah. It's insane. It is so weird that guy was in there.
So is this the consensus that this is the best movie somehow?
I don't know.
Of the four?
Like,
I respect you saying that you like the first one more. I respect that. Okay, and I wouldn't contest it. Okay. I think I enjoyed this one more overall, but I can see the argument.
Okay, I think fair enough.
I think I liked this more than I had more fun with this than I had with Kong Skull Island, my favorite of the three before this. because I like Kong Skull Island for all of its nonsense, and then this movie had a lot of nonsense, but more, like, bigger nonsense. So I don't think any moment in any of these movies has topped the bit where King Kong jumps in the air, grabs the top of the building, and throws it at Godzilla. So I think just the fact that this one had that moment in it and didn't completely suck was pretty good. And again, I mean, we talked about this in the very beginning, but I do think that reverse Godzilla Bechdel rule thing, like the movie was about Godzilla. Nobody had any character growth besides just
single conversation that's not about Godzilla.
Yeah, like Godzilla, Kong, Mutos, whatever, but there was no bullshit, so that was good. Yeah, so I liked that. I think this is my favorite. Yeah, I do. I think you know what, and to be fair to all the main characters that were in it, they were all fine. They were all, I think Millie Bobby Brown was probably better in this than she was in the other one. Like,
I guess.
I kind of feel like she's an actor now, as opposed to like a kid actor. You know what I mean? Like,
I just think she had nothing to do in this movie. You just made her like the paranoid, like crazy fan of this conspiracy theorist podcast. She ropes in Deadpool 2 kid, and they do nothing. That plot is I cannot emphasize to you guys and the audience how much that side plot frustrated me, because it was such a nothing and a waste of time. You could have cut down the time of this movie. You could have put in more monster fights. It's worse than the cutaways that happened in the previous movies.
No.
Yes,
I think that's going too far.
At least all the scenes these guys were in, we learned more about Mechagodzilla, and then it was
at
pretty
least
cool.
in one of them, someone says the word Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, like
that instantly makes it better.
And we get the villain speech. That was fun. Like, I agree that we could have cut most of that out and just had those scenes where we watch it from the villain's perspective. And this movie wants it to be a big surprise. Kind of, I guess. I mean, like, they could have the villain reveal that at that moment.
And it's not, right? It's not even kind of a surprise.
Well, like, you could just have Kyle Chandler.
I said last night, talking about this movie, I was like, yeah, the trailers make it look like Godzilla's the bad guy, but it's probably going to turn out to be Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because Godzilla could never be the bad guy. I think you could do a movie where Godzilla is mind controlled by the bad guy, and then
this Godzilla would never be the bad guy. Godzilla has been the bad guy many times.
But
Godzilla started as the bad guy.
And I think, like, with this, you could have had the guy, you know, Elon Musk, just talking to Kyle Chandler instead and being like, hey, Monarch, I've built this thing. You want to see it? And then he goes to their house and checks on it. And, like, we didn't need Millie Bobby Brown. I didn't hate her. And I like that the hero of the movie had a podcast. So I think that made it better than the other ones. And I like that Bradley Whitford wasn't in it. And not that he's bad, but his character was stupid. And I like that Thomas Middleditch wasn't in it, because he is bad and his character is stupid. They killed the two actors we liked in those movies, and then the characters that were left were really bad, so why even bother with the Monarch 5 or whatever they were in King of Monsters. And the new guy was fun. Alexander Skarsgård, he was fine. He wore vests.
Yeah,
it was alright.
I mean, he was kind of nothing, but he was an inoffensive nothing.
He was definitely not American. Like, he was something else. You're not clear exactly what. I mean, I know Skarsgård, so that gives a big hint, but he was doing his best American accent, and I didn't mind it, but it was kind of funny. Yeah. All in all, loved it. But guys, what are we going to do next week?
Oh, man.
I know.
I have no idea.
We're going to do Godzilla vs. Kong again, right?
Oh my god, yeah. Let's
Godzilla vs. Kong podcast now.
See how we feel about it, yeah. Let's go back to the Snyder Cut Black and White edition, baby. No, there's movies. When does the Cruella de Vil movie? That's like May, right? So not that.
Yeah, I think our next one of a release is Mortal Kombat, because that comes out in April.
Mortal Kombat! Yeah. We could do the old Mortal Kombat movies. They're pretty weird.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah,
We've never done them, right? We've never done any of them.
There's only the two that would be worth doing, but I love them. Right, because they never made another one. It's Mortal Kombat, Annihilation, and then Annihilation. This. Yeah.
So, it comes out the 16th. So
I think they moved it back a week.
Oh, did they?
Like this? Yeah, like today. I'm not positive about that, but I do think they fucked around with the release date. So I would triple check that.
Everything still says April 16th.
Oh, really?
Moves back a week. April 23rd. You're so
Okay.
smart, Nando.
Yeah.
All right, so what we could do
I live on
is,
Twitter just like Diggins. My brain is mush.
we could do Mortal Kombat next week, and then Annihilation the following week, and then question mark the following week, and then we could do the new Mortal Kombat.
Are there any? There have to be some movies we're forgetting, though.
Oh, maybe.
Right? Like, there's other, Netflix and HBO shit. Right? April 2021 movies. We got Mortal Kombat, Thunder Force. Shoot me before I watch that. Honestly, never
Wait,
has a
guys, we can do the movie we promised before the Snyder Cut and never did.
What?
Oh, yeah!
The Legends of Ga'Hoole, or the Owl... Legends of the Guardians, the Owls of Ga'Hoole.
I was going to say, we could also do the movie that Alex has suggested we do. Like,
That's
yeah,
true.
we do have to do his movie. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, there's no movies in April besides these. There's no shows that are like completely done by then either. I guess maybe Falcon and the Winter Soldier will be wrapping up, but not before Mortal Kombat, so
Yeah.
we couldn't even do an episode on that. And then after Mortal Kombat, then I think we get Cruella. Black Widow's not till June or July or whatever. Suicide Squad's not till August. So yeah, I think the run up to Mortal Kombat can be a whole thing, which is fine with me. I love, like I said, love Mortal Kombat. Can't wait for that movie. Probably gonna see it in the theater. It just looks so sick. And even if it's stupid, it's still gonna be pretty cool.
Because you'll be vaccinated by then.
Yes, correct. I am completely vaccinated, and I'm just like in that week and a half or 2 weeks or whatever period of flux. But by that time that comes out, theaters all the way. As long as it's safe, who knows? Maybe they'll have made a cool fourth wave or fourth variant from that fourth wave in Miami that we can all enjoy. Hopefully not, but
I don't know. I'm still not rushing to go back just because, again, it's not COVID related. It's just like, this is pretty sweet, dog.
You said it in the beginning of this podcast that you would have liked to have seen this in a
Kind
theater.
of. I
Didn't
said
you?
I said I wondered, and like, maybe I kind of would have wanted to.
The classic DJ backpedal.
Yeah, I can't. Anybody who's listening to this, don't let him edit it out. We'll see what he says.
No, play it back. I'm pretty
editor,
sure what I said
editor,
was like,
whoever edits this podcast, play it back right now at this spot.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at the movie releases. I mean, June technically has some stuff. June has Fun 9, maybe. Like, I feel like there's a lot of movies
Then we gotta finish our
oh
Fast
my
and
gosh,
Furious.
we do.
Yeah, but is that going to come out? Like, I feel like we'll
But
know.
do you want to get till a week before it comes out and have to do all 5 movies in one podcast?
I feel like we'll know by the end of this month, but whether they're going to go through it or not. But actually, so May we've got some stuff. So May we've got Cruella in the end of May. We got Spiral. You saw a trailer for that? Like the not Kong. I don't want to say Kong, because Kong is the hero, just as Jigsaw is the hero in the Saw movies. So it's Saw, but with Chris Rock. We got Army of the Dead, speaking of Zack Snyder, his zombie movie. So those are movies.
Yeah, they are.
Some of them might even be good.
Movies.
Well,
All right, so
never
what's
mind.
next week?
I don't know. But so next week we could do, I would say we have 3 options.
Okay.
We can do Sky High, which is Alex's pick. We could do,
That's official, right? That's his official pick?
yes, 100%. We could
Okay,
do
all right.
Fast 5, I guess, which is where we are now.
Yep.
Yes.
Where it starts to get good.
Or we could do Mortal Kombat, whatever, 1 from
Wanna put up a poll?
1995. Yeah, we can put up a poll. We can put up a poll like now,
Will we
too.
actually put up a poll, or will we say we put up a poll and never do it?
Nando's
and
gonna
then
put up the
decide
poll
something
right
on our
now.
own?
All right, hold on. Let me get my phone out. While I'm doing that, do you guys want to get to our classic segment?
Yeah, I love to.
I would love
All
that.
right. DJ, you got anything to recommend to the fine people?
I do. So I have been dabbling into the 4X games recently, which I'm gonna fuck this up.
What's that? I don't know what that is.
It's explore, exploit, expand, exterminate.
Yep.
So yeah, it's basically the idea where like you start in with like a little bit of stuff and you expand it out. So Crusader Kings, which we've talked about before, falls into this category.
I wouldn't call Crusader Kings a 4X. It's more of a grand
Is it really?
strategy.
Is it really not?
There's a distinction, but it's not that important. Just go on.
Okay, well, all right. So my bad, but this is what we describe is like a 4X game. So it is made by the same developer. It's I want to say like Pandemic, but like that's so
Paradox.
stupid. Paradox. Thank you. So Paradox makes a lot of different games. Crusader Kings among them. But so Paradox
A
4X...
lot of fantastic games like Crusader Kings, Europa Universalis, Victoria, Hearts of Iron, Stellaris. Just all fantastic games that I love playing because I'm a shill.
So you said the one that I was going to recommend. There was a Humble Bundle for this, which unfortunately is already ended even by the time we're recording this, so definitely by the time you're hearing this. But there was a Humble Bundle for Stellaris. So I had kind of looked into this because it was like $15 for Stellaris and a lot of expansions. And a friend of the pod, Alex Lee, was like, "Hey, you should pick this up. Looks pretty cool." And I did, and oh my god, this game is so much. It's so much. It's like the premise is, right, it's like you're some kind of galactic government. It could be like Earth, or it could be like literally any planet. You could be aliens, you know, like xenomorphs, whatever. And just the idea is, right, is that you're just expanding your reach across the galaxies, and you're just trying to get as many planets under your control as possible, colonize new planets, and just adapt and explore and fight rebels and all this shit. It's so much. It's like one of those games that, depending on like how you learn how to play, like for me, I tried to watch YouTube video, I can't, because like the YouTube videos are like 40 minutes long. This game's just so much, so I just kind of tried to wing it, and that was probably a mistake. I don't think I figured I've like nailed it yet, but I'm kind of like bumbling around. I really like the flavor of it. There's a really good sci-fi flavor to it. Like I don't know, Diggins, maybe you could inform me if like all their games do this, but you could like just read a ton of text that explains what's going on, or you could just skip it and just min-max your way through the game. But I really like it. The game's like been out forever, but I think there's a lot more expansions and stuff that they just keep rolling out. There's so many fucking expansions. I think the same for like Europa Universalis. They have like a 50% sale for that right now, and you could buy everything for $125, and I can't tell if that's a good deal or not.
If you really want to buy everything, it is a good deal. They actually also recently though announced if you have the base game of Europa Universalis 4, you can pay $5 a month and have access to every expansion as long as you're paying that. So if you just want to like mess around for a month or two, like that's a really good deal to get all the expansions.
That's pretty good. So anyway, I checked out Stellaris. Really, really good. Would certainly recommend. Actually, they have their spring sale on right now, so you could buy the base game of Stellaris for, it looks like $15. And then, like, all the expansions are on sale now. But, check it out if you think you're into those kind of game. It might be into that kind of game. Again, it's a lot. Like, Diggins, how did you learn how to play this? Because I don't even know, like, where to start.
I read and watched a lot of tutorial stuff, and then I just trial and error, figuring out what works. I will say, Paradox games have, over time, gotten a lot better at tutorializing. I think Crusader Kings 3 is actually really good at introducing you to the mechanics of that game.
Yes.
If you play the tutorial. Some of the other tutorials in their games are much worse.
Yeah.
And especially, part of it is that Crusader Kings 3 is new also. As they go on, the expansions tend to radically change a lot of the mechanics, so the base tutorial is just wrong. So... part of it is just getting in early so you can acclimate yourself to things as they release.
Yeah, I found the Stellaris tutorial to be rough. So I probably need to go back and watch more videos and stuff, but it's like so fun. Just like the stuff you could do, and you could like really get into like the weeds. You can make your own races and like empires. They have like an editor for that. It's crazy the amount of personalization.
What kind of aliens did you make for your first empire?
Not a single one. I went with the base humans because I'm a lame boy.
Boo! Give me the weird plant people.
Dude, I would probably lose so fast. I need my basic democratic Earth-based government, starting in Seoul, and we keep it simple. It's the only way I can learn. It's the only possible way.
I want slug aliens, and I want them now.
These are real things you can do in this game, folks. I'm trying to find if Stellaris is on Paradox's spring sale. I feel like all the it's about that time where all of the like game developers are like doing their spring sales.
Yeah, why is that? Why do they do that?
I have no idea. It's like Black Friday all the time.
Well, again, point out it is spring,
so you can get Stellaris. It looks like the base game for $10, so that's not bad.
Pretty good.
So Yeah, it's great. Check it out. And so 10 for the standard edition, and then $12.50 for the Galaxy edition, which looks like you're just playing for a bunch of stuff. But then all of like their DLC is like $5 each. And I think a good thing too is you like figure out like the different flavors for the different DLCs and like figure out what you want to play. But yeah, I would definitely recommend checking it out. So yeah, it's my rec.
Nice. Cool. Diggins, what do you got to recommend? Do you have anything to recommend to the fine people?
I do. I actually also have a Vibio game.
Oh my god.
But quite a different Vibio game. This one's been out for a while, but it just got a huge new update that added voice acting. So it's a really good... And also, I think a few like extra scenes and stuff. So it's a really good time to pick it up. It's called Disco Elysium.
Oh, yeah, what is that?
So it's kind of like a point-and-click adventure game with a lot of branching dialogue options and things like that. Kind of like an RPG where you level up like your skills, and that determines what sorts of conversations you can have and what you notice during conversations, etc. Kind of a mystery, because you're like a cop trying to solve a murder that happened on this one city block, which is the whole game just takes place on like this one block over the course of a couple days, and it's you trying to solve this murder. But also, so the game opens with the main character emerging from being utterly, entirely blackout drunk to the point where he no longer remembers who he is, where he is, what he's doing, or like literally anything other than how to function as a person. And you don't know why. He did this on purpose. He knows that, but he doesn't remember why. And so you start with you wake up, you put on your clothes, and you try to figure out, what am I doing here? Who am I and why am I here? And then the really interesting mechanic about this game is that all the skills and stuff are also like personalities that talk to you. Like, when you wake up, it depends on what some of your skills are. Like, different ones will talk to you. Like, I have a character with a high empathy, so when I'm talking to people, I'll have like a little voice that will cut in and be like, it seems like this person's uncomfortable with that subject. You probably shouldn't press it. Or something like that. But there's also lots of weird skills. Like, there's one called Inland Empire, which I've also put a fair amount of points into, that just lets you be really imaginative and weird. Like, there was one, when we first got to the body, I like looked into its eyes, and then I had an entire imaginary conversation with the corpse where I actually found out new information based on what it was telling me. And it's really not clear if I was like literally communing with its spirit, or if I was just imagining a conversation and contextualizing things I noticed through this weird, like, fake conversation I was having. It's really interesting in that way. And it's also very much like, the more you use things, you kind of like level up those and like put interest in them. It's very branching. Like, there's no way you're going to be able to find and do everything. So it's very much dependent on what you are interested in, what you say, what you try to do. Which I think is really good for me as someone who's often very completionist, like being broken of that habit, accepting that this is my adventure that I am having and it's not going to be everything, is really refreshing in a way, because I have a hard time making myself do that. But yeah, it's so fascinating. It's also really funny. The first time I tried to play the game, the first thing I did was I tried to get my necktie off of it. It was like stuck on the ceiling fan that was on and spinning around. So I reached up and tried to grab it, but I put my physical stats very low, so I failed the check.
Nice.
And then my character had a heart attack and died.
Oh my god, that's less awesome.
And that was the end of my first attempt.
Oh my god.
It was really, I mean, it was like a minute in, so starting over was really not a big deal, and it was really funny.
That sounds enjoyable.
It is. And it auto-saves fairly generously. So if things like that happen, like not at the very beginning of the game, you just load up and try again.
What's this on? Like console or like PC or whatever?
It is on PC. I believe it is also on PS4 and PS5. And I think it might be on the Xbox as well.
Oh, okay.
I have heard of it, and I've heard good things.
I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm not super far in, but it's the exact kind of like weird and out there and mysterious, but also really funny and witty and sharp that I just enjoy.
And
the writing is so good.
What's the name again?
Disco Elysium.
Disco Elysium. I'm taking that one down.
If you have a chance, I would definitely check it out. Yeah, I've also heard like tons of good things about this before, which is why I wanted to check it out. And like I said, it just got a big new update that added voice acting and extra scenes and a bunch of other stuff. So it's a great time to pick it up if you haven't. So yeah, you should check that out.
It is on sale on Steam until April 9th.
Okay.
Even better reason to check it out right now.
Certainly, listeners, you'll probably have a few days to pick it up.
Wait, how much does it cost right now on Steam?
32, which is 20% off. It's normally 40.
Interesting. Could be fun. Yeah.
They're selling it because they were part of the BAFTA Awards.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, they got 3 awards.
Oh
debut game, music, and narrative. Wow.
Just incredible.
Isn't every game a debut game?
Well, no, it's because this is the studio's first game. But yeah, your choices really shape your character in this game, which is really good because as like an alcoholic who destroyed his memory on purpose, as you might imagine, some of you can choose to make your character just a total disaster of a person who can't do anything if you really want to. And it's just very funny.
I love the idea of this game. It's so good.
But then you can also just like try to be competent and get into the mystery and dig into finding out what happened and, you know, have an enjoyable story in that sense. So it's, I've only played a little bit of it so far, but it's totally captured me, right away. And I've heard amazing things. So I have to imagine it's going to keep going.
Cool.
Oh man, guys, IGN gave it an 8 out of 10.
Oh, what is there something in there for it? Some people?
There's something for everyone.
Ooh, I'm part of that. The game is a winner.
Everyone.
Yeah. I'm going to say I will definitely recommend a couple things. So on the direction of as part of the recommendation from Christopher Diggins of Mostly Nitpicking, I watched a movie this week called, I forget what it's called already, You Me Madness. That's it. I say yours, mine, and ours. That's on it. The vanity project of, well, not vanity project, tax dodge. It seemed to be. I'm not saying it's a tax dodge. What I am saying is, if I were making a movie that was a tax dodge, it would look a lot like that.
Can you say, like, allegedly? It's a tax
I mean, I don't want to say it's allegedly a tax dodge. I mean, we're a joke podcast, made a joke, so nothing we say is, whatever. What did City Powell say this week? No, we're not to be taken seriously by anyone. But, however, this movie is fucking insane. There's a scene that takes place in a room full of cars. None of the cars are driven. It's just, there they all are. And, then there's one bit where a character is going to get in a car. And I was telling the person I'm watching it with, I'm like, I bet it's a different car. And it was like, they would just like buy 5 cars or 20 cars. And we'll figure out a way so that every time this character is dressed in a new thing, it's a completely different outfit that's expensive. Same with the cars. There was a second where I was like, why is this even like, cause one of the things, so for people that don't know, this movie is a lot like American Psycho mixed with Deadpool, but with a blonde woman in charge who is, let's say over her head as far as acting, directing, and writing this thing. So, not cranking out one of the best performances of all time. But there is a point early in the movie where she's kind of like going over her routine that's like listen, I'm a cool girl who does lots of business. And what I do is I wake up at 4:30 every morning and eat some food. And then I get on my bike. And sometimes I do Peloton. And sometimes I go in and I do bike in person. And I was like, what the fuck? Why are they not just having her go to spin class? Like, oh, because the Peloton's also part of the tax thing. Like, everything is a tax thing.
Oh, my God.
Everything. The thing that I really couldn't believe was how much music they got away with. There is, every 2-3 minutes, there's a new 80s song that would come out off of like an album that they would sell you at night on an infomercial of like totally 80s, and because it's just the absolute just most obvious musical choices.
I have to imagine that the majority of the budget was to music rights.
Right? Yeah. And the movie's going to lose money, so we'll never know, but maybe it won't lose money, but with all those cars that they probably rented at a very high price from a certain ex-secretary treasury, or whatever, treasury secretary. But no, it's so weird. There's that one clip that you sent me that's very funny. I don't think the movie ever gets quite to that level, because there's certain parts where I'm like, it's approaching something kind of funny or something where I'm like, oh, that's almost good. Like, that's almost a good joke. It's not, but it's almost a good joke. And, but the movie's, much like Deadpool, just is so proud of itself and how clever it is. And it's just fucking, it's a nightmare. So sometimes the self-indulgentness is very funny, but sometimes it's not. The craziest part about that one clip that you sent me, Diggins, that I hadn't seen beforehand, but then saw it during the movie, is like he sneezes halfway through the shot and they just left it in. You know?
Yeah.
That's so weird. Because of all the other problems with the shot, but then also it's like, if there were ever a reason to be like, we need to take another shot of this, I sneezed. Also, maybe fix the dancing, but no, they went with it. So definitely watch that if you can find it. It's like on demandable. But okay, so that comics. I'm not reading anything too exciting now. I'm working on Uncanny Avengers, which is the Avengers X-Men mashup that happened after Avengers vs. X-Men. But I think I've already talked about that. It's pretty good by Rick Remender, who's a great writer. And it's got one of my favorite X-Men that never shows up in stuff anymore, Sunfire. He's part of it now, and it's a fun character. And it's got Wonder Man. It's got a good cast. And I like, you know what's fun about this book? If you've ever read either of these books and you're not that interested, it's funny because the Avengers there have a very professional environment that they at least try to cultivate, especially when Captain America's in charge. And the X-Men are really weird. And when they show up, they just start doing weird shit. And they're just like, yeah, there's going to be some drama because there's X-Men around. And that's kind of fun. But yeah, otherwise, that's pretty good. The one thing I will say is my big wreck of the week, because that movie is bad and you shouldn't watch it, but it's kind of weird. But this, I'd say, like, people should watch, is Amazon Prime. One of the three places where the movies and products come from, has a new show called Invincible. It's about a superhero who is invincible. And he is a little Spider-Man Superman hybrid, and it is an animated show. I've been mispronouncing it because it's Invincible. I don't like that title, but I get it because that's what the character called himself, and the characters in the show are like, that's a weird name. And he's like, I know, whatever. Stars Stephen Yeun and J.K. Simmons. It's animated. It takes a little while to start moving, but by the end of the first episode, I have a feeling either you're in or out. And the end of the first episode is very, very, very something. It's very interesting. So just like be like, oh, well, this isn't that interesting. But then it gets interesting. So I really do like it otherwise, because I think the voice acting is very fun. They got a lot of good like talent for that. But also just anybody that's read the comic knows where, what's going on, and it's a wild story. Have either of you guys watched it, Invincible?
No, I've seen commercials, but I haven't watched it. Perhaps I'll get on that.
Yeah, I think you'd like it. It's kind of like somewhere in between The Boys and like The Tick and Venture Brothers, where it's like there's a world of superheroes. They're all kind of parodies of current ones that exist in like pop culture, but it's a little bit more earnest in most ways, but also like it takes some seriously and thinks some are silly, which is fun. But also, it does some things that are just really, really cool. It also looks like an anime. I can't quite place why, so I'd want someone else to watch it for me to that like spends more time with anime. That's like, oh, it's because the characters don't move that much, or it's because there's no background music or something. There's something about it. But yeah, I think most people. It's by what is important. It's by whatchamacallit. It's by that guy, the one who did Walking Dead. He's doing this. So, Robert Kirkman.
Thank you.
That's it.
So plenty of violence, and much like in how in Mandalorian, they gave the Mandalorian an indestructible helmet because he was played by Pedro Pascal. In this show, they made Stephen Yeun's character invincible because he's played by Stephen Yeun, who got beaten to death in The Walking Dead. So that's like kind of the joke. He atoned for his crimes. But yeah, so those are my big three things. I'm sure I'll have others next week because there's a lot of other comics that are coming out soon. And I was thinking about giving that Disco Elysium game a shot. It's been on my list for a while, and
yeah, I'm definitely gonna, since it's on sale, probably gonna try it.
Yeah,
play a little bit this weekend.
The poll is up.
Talk about what horrible disaster of a human being we've all turned our detectives into.
Yo, yeah, that would be so fun.
I think I'm gonna just I'm gonna do the opposite of you, Diggins. I'm gonna drop the intelligence to nothing and bump up all the strength, so I could be a big dummy.
That sounds like a fun way to play the game, honestly.
Yeah.
A detective who has, like, no intelligence.
Listen, there's definitely been some things I have been embarrassingly unable to do because my physical stats are so low. So you're going to get some stuff up on me.
All right.
I'll let you know how it goes.
Well, that sounds good. I put up the poll, so I'm getting some
we're doing
responses,
Sky
but we'll
High
give
next
it some
week.
time.
If early results are indicative of anything.
Hold on.
Give it time.
Early
Yeah.
results,
All right.
The early voting tends to skew in a certain direction. You gotta
That's
give it time
true.
to play out.
Skews very Sky High.
Towards the oh God, what is it? Genocidal? Not genocidal. What is Sky
Fascist?
High?
God.
Eugenicists? No, it's eugenics.
I thought oh yeah, that's it.
It's fascist too. There's a lot of fun stuff inside of Sky High. But yeah. Also, did you guys see Among Us just got updated? Hooray!
Oh,
man.
good.
That was all I was missing.
Among Us content 24/7.
Among Us Thursday is coming up, guys.
Oh, I'm so excited for Among Us
yeah.
Thursdays.
What the fuck? I already forgot what the name of this game is. Disco Elysium. How do I forget that word? How much is, like, the name of it important?
So far 0%.
Okay, because it really does just seem like nonsense words, but it's probably more important, but it feels like it could be one of those things where you just, once you've played the game, you get it.
It's probably a title more about the vibe than about, like, a plot important thing, you know?
That makes sense. Cool. I'm excited. Anybody got anything to plug?
Nothing here.
What's going on with Roses and Rejections? You got any new Bachelor?
Nope. It's we'll have an episode out. Probably just put out already after this aired on The Circle. That'll be our latest episode.
On just the whole of The Circle?
Yeah, we're just gonna talk about the show. So.
I feel like me and you talked about it enough that I know what you think of it, and I know you think that I know who the winner, not the winner, because it doesn't matter who the winner is, but the winner in my heart is what's his name, because he's the best one.
Joey, you love Joey.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it for people because he really does go from, like, episode 1, you're like, this guy sucks, and then by episode 2, you're like, this guy's the best one, and it never fucks it up. He's always great.
Did you know they announced season 2?
I did not, but that makes all the sense in the world. I can't wait.
So they're doing it. They're not dropping everything at once.
Good.
They're going to do it over 3 weeks. They're going to do 4 episodes a week.
I'm all for that. I think that's very smart.
So yeah, it's 12 episodes over 3 weeks. So
cool.
Yeah. We'll probably cover that on Roses and Rejections, so that'll be good too.
Did you say when it
April
comes out?
14th.
Oh shoot!
So yeah, like 2 weeks.
Holy shit! Wow.
I know. So
awesome.
Exciting.
Yeah. What about you, Diggins? Anything to recommend?
I mean, to plug, well, you can check out my newsletter at alittleperspective.substack.com. I do things sometimes, you go sign up. You sign up for it, then every time I do a thing, it just shows up in your email. Bada bing, bada boom. Give it a shot.
Very technical. I like that. That sounds good. Yeah, I got a video coming out. Well, actually, no. I don't know when my next video is out. We'll see. I just put one out on WandaVision, so I'm in that 1 or 2 day period where I just kind of bullshit and then try to figure out what I'm doing next. So we'll probably know by the time this episode goes out. But what was I gonna say? But yeah. Oh, it was interesting. I went through, podcast listeners could get this kind of insight. I went through because there's a streaming service called Nebula that I'm part of that is like the streaming service for YouTubers, but it's cool. It's great. And I make a little bit of extra Nebula content at the end of a video. And this week, because of WandaVision, I was like, I should talk about like the Marvel pets. Because there was that pet in WandaVision. It never came back from the dead like it does in the comic. Did you guys know that in the comics currently, Bucky has a white cat that is nice and loves him and it's just like great? They really
I did not.
Yeah, it's named Alpine, and he just they did a relaunch of Winter Soldier in 2018 where it was just like Bucky rescuing people who were part of Hydra and then wanted to get out, and he was like, give him a second chance, and he had a house in Indiana where he just lived, because that's where he's from, I think, or something like that. He explains it, because I assumed he's from where Steve is from, but I think that's in the shows, but in the comics, Bucky is like a kid he met at Army. So he can be from anywhere. But anyway, there's just a cat there, and they really need to give Sebastian Stan that cat, and it doesn't even bother me that he is allergic to cats. Make him suffer through the cat. Because you know what? He's also probably allergic to falling out of planes, but they made him do that in the show. So give him a cat. Whatever. It's great. I love that show. And by that I mean, we will see. This week is the Zemo episode, so I'm very excited for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Give us the sock.
We're getting this. Oh, we're getting the sock, baby. I have my new list of demands. Did you see, by the way, episode 5, they say is going to have a cameo. That's so cool. Oh my God. You'll never believe it.
Oh,
They're
liars.
Mephistoing themselves.
Oh my God, it's Paul Bettany.
Yeah, it's going to be Paul Bettany again. I
Yeah,
can't
right.
wait. Yeah.
Gonna show up.
I can't imagine what it's going to be. But it'll probably be underwhelming unless we get our hopes down, and then it will be overwhelming, and that'll be fun.
If Reed Richards shows up, I'll freak the fuck out.
I hope John Krasinski shows up, but as a person, like as Jack Ryan, maybe, or something.
I'm here to help.
Yeah, I'm wearing a blue shirt by coincidence.
I heard you guys wanted to destabilize the South American government, so I'm here.
Yeah, I'm a friend of U.S. agent. He actually seems like a pretty cool guy. You guys want to sell a shitty show to CBS for no reason? Okay, I'm your man, John Krasinski. Not a fan. Listen, we got off track. King Kong is so cool. Anyway, that's all for this week. Until next week, I'm at Nando V Movies on Twitter.
I'm at Zippy by Day.
I'm at This Is an Odd Name.
Woo! Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Peace.
Bye, we love you.